Welcome everybody to the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup Last Chance Qualifier, where 59 teams entered with their final chance to punch a ticket to Texas. Now, only 2 remain. And in a bracket that housed Missouri Baptist, Northwood, and Mizzou, it may not be the 2 schools you expected to get to this point. I'm Catnator, that's Takashi, and we're here to take you through this final match.
And we've got a great one for you. Our finalists here, the 2nd-seeded Baker College going up against the 8th-seeded Siena Heights University. There's a bit of a March Madness feel to it, isn't there? Anything can happen here in this last chance qualifier. I hope, well, shouldn't really put my bias out there already, but for the sake of March Madness everywhere, 8 seed all the way.
Yeah, Siena Heights certainly looking for the upset, and they've already put one onto the docket. They upset Northwood 2 rounds ago, the 1 seed in this bracket, a squad that we've seen at every iteration of the Texas event thus far, including the one in Atlanta. This time around, they cannot get the job done. I believe we've seen them as a finalist in every CECC as well, so a chance to lift the cup for the last 3 years, now decimated by Siena Heights School, who's looking for a shot at it themselves.
And they've got the opportunity to do it. They've got the players to do it. Baker College, of course, handling MBU just fine in their last match. Maps are ready. So if we take a look here at the pick ban, what do you make of these 2 teams here, Kat? I see Siena Heights on split, Baker choosing to defend, Baker in turn responding with the Lotus pick, and then after a couple more bans coming through, the decider will be Haven. A couple of Haven deciders here for us in the LCQ. What do you make of that? I mean, I know it's the map, right? When you think of Valorant, it's like, you know, a map that's been around since the beginning. Everyone has played on it hundreds of times at this point. But what do you think of the split and Lotus picks from our 2 teams here?
I think it's difficult for Baker to choose a map against the Siena Heights team that have seen pretty much the entire map pool in this bracket minus Lotus. So a chance for them to go there. They won it yesterday, 13-10 against Missouri Baptist, so trusting themselves to play it efficiently, but they haven't actually seen what Siena brings to the table. They're a squad that's in NAC playoffs, in ECAC playoffs, but if you're not a member of those leagues yourself, it's pretty hard to get the match results, to get the map pools there. So I think this could be a lack of info for this team, and hopefully not something that comes back to bite them, as Siena Heights have played split throughout this tournament and have won it in most of their matchups.
And I take a look at a couple of these, taking a look at these compositions here, you see something pretty similar. The agent select here, very, very fast from both teams, but you did have a chance to catch the Yoru going down on, I believe, Baker's side there. But we'll have to take a look and see how these comps shake out here. Taking a look at the graphics from our production team, obviously, fantastic sweep of the map split. What do you think of this map personally? Not from a competitive standpoint, Kat. Just what's your personal take on this one?
It's my favorite map in the game.
Nice.
It's my favorite map in the game. I was really sad when it left the map pool. I think I'm the only player who was sad to see it go. The changes have only made it so much better. Not being as reliant on mid-con, but definitely can be. I love the mind games on this map. I love to see different iterations of fights for mid-control. I think it's the most fun map to watch. Obvious bias there, but I really do think there's a lot of fun here. There's chances for a lot of different metas. I mean, you see that come through with Fade on this Yoru. There's a lot of different ways to play this map. And at a collegiate level, I really love to see the way some of these rosters innovate.
And speaking of innovation here, so the change-ups, you have Astra in place of Omen between the 2 teams. Then you also have the Tejo combination instead of the Yoru. So it'll be interesting to see how that util combo comes through off of the breach fault lines and such. You see the Teho drone already getting value as it clears out the entirety of ramp, and it forces Nami just to be jump spotting here on Heaven, waiting patiently for Sienna Heights to move in on this angle. It's something off.
Demon going to rotate early over towards rope. It does leave a lot of space in mid though. Sienna, they put a lot of pressure early ramp. They managed to push the Omen up. And they recognize if they're able to take that early space, they might get the defense jumpy. They've done just that. Demon there confirms there has been players that move over. So Rice Ball and nothing to do has to sit here and vent. Has given all this room now towards Heaven. And SHU gonna look to flood the site.
And it is a nice struggle from Sienna Heights to actually get such free positioning here onto the B site. The only complaint that I really have is you're losing your smokes player this early into the round. You're going to have a tougher time shutting out these choke points, and there's a lot of take utility from Baker's side.
SHU gonna hold site. As you mentioned, they do have a bit of defensive utility left to work back into this one. Fade will be ratting towards the back of things. I don't expect this contact to actually come through unless Fade initiates. So it's a patient game from the Bees thus far. So now push their way in. Super nails the shot on the Ori. No trouble. Noble has a second from the back of the site. And not a lot to work off of if you're Baker. Just trying to shoot their way out of trouble. Can't do so just yet. Nami finally to grab one. But you need a whole lot more than that. And they certainly won't get it. It's going to be SHU with the pistol round.
And very, very nice patience from SHU. I mean, you have the flank utility from the Vice. You know that somebody's flanking around garage side, but the patience from Super just holding that angle as long as humanly possible. Baker eventually gets tired of it. They have to push in. The spike's ticking down, and SHU, nice and patient in that first round. Good movement despite the lack of smokes there from them.
So the Saints will get off rolling first. It'll be a full Chico for Baker College. A couple ghosts in there as well. Fate looking to hold early, holding for this pop flash. Has a lot of players in male, so an opportunity for something, but Super has shut down the party. Revenge going to continue the ways as Demon gets one for their troubles. That's all the ticket can punch. So the Saints holding strong up towards mid here. You're not really cooking much here. If you're Rice balling, just gonna have to recognize I'll look for a pick if I can, but the space is definitely not gonna be something I'm taking. Actually, they will, so they'll walk away. Rice gonna take the space in towards the back of this back line. So Saints gonna crawl their way over to the A site.
Yeah, and the wall was tripped on the garage walkout towards B main, so SHU feeling all so confident, getting this plant down as open as you like. The Thorns in Heaven preventing Rice balling from actually contesting that plant. So Baker, best they can really do here, I feel like, is hold SHU here on site and see if they can deny a couple of these rifles from being carried into the next round.
Yes, recon damage would be huge here for Baker. So look to go into what is gonna be the bonus for the Saints. Fantastic tab. Shout out to our observer, Cool Scoots, dropping in the extra bit of info here. This judge would love to get a couple of picks here for Econ. Definitely not the weapon I want to take into my bonus round. T-Man lost with nothing, but fortunately the judge is here. Nami, though, gonna shoot their way out. They've got a Vandal for their trouble. That's exactly how you want that to play out if you're Baker College. So they'll go into this bonus round where the Saints only take out 2 weapons, and they've managed to finagle a rifle.
That's exactly how you draw it up, right? I mean, maybe the judge, not something that you're expecting Drago to be wielding there for SHU, but Baker College, nice job doing some economic damage here and setting yourself up in good position to try and convert this third round.
Interested to see if we put anything into T-Man's hand here. Just at least Sheriff, come on, bro. Do him a solid, but they opt not to, so it'll be just the classic for their breach here. Should be the backliner anyway. Should play much more util based, so that might not be the biggest issue in the world. Opposing fault line gonna slow down this Baker team here, and Aftershock as well. So nothing in mail for them just yet, but they have gotten, as you notice, Baker playing fully off of the actual mid contact. So they've given them basically everything here. They're gonna look to contain these extremities instead.
And Baker is just telling T-Man, hey, you know, kick back. You have the spike. Somebody at some point will die in front of you, and you can pick up a gun from wherever you want. So it's really just the waiting game. Super's in a nice advanced position here. It all just comes down to where SHU decides to send their players, and T-Man's looking to rotate all the way back over towards A site. I assume off of this B contact, they'll pop out A and see what they can do.
Little jiggle for Drago. May have spotted the Astra there. It was close. So they have. It's the extra util going to come through. And they'll actually look to fake this one. It's pulled the Yoru very nicely. It's up to Super to grab that pick, though. Couldn't quite do so. Just underpowered in terms of weaponry. So they've been able to give that one away. As Baker going to hold now into this heaven space. The fake would have fooled them. Has not quite as much. It has at least given the cross here. So the Vise can get to sight. Plant's actually going to go down. And the Saints honestly gathered most of the value they wanted to. And what is this downplayed bonus round? If they could get more, they'd love it. And they've got some space and a big backline play from Noble. There's the first. It hits both. The round now in their favor.
And Drago, just with that jump spot, sees that a couple of people have crossed into elbow already. So now it's Vice's turn to activate. Revenge playing on site with this rifle they've sold. Waiting patiently. Revenge looking to close out this round in style with a pair of headshots. Not quite going to get the third, but Noble will get his. It's a full house for SHU as they pick up their third.
They go in with just 2 initial rifles on their bonus. They come out with a win and an extra one to boot. Econ couldn't feel better here for this team early. And Baker College back to the drawing board and back to the dumps in terms of Econ. They're going to look for sheriffs and marshals in this round. We'll see if they play a little bit further up into mid-con and how this impacts the later stages of this half. Because you notice they give all that space in towards mid. They look to hold Mail and Vent instead. They end up getting pulled off Vent. Super takes that space phenomenally, and it gives the room for the rest of the Saints to work or rotate in that direction, especially Noble on the back end. So I'd expect to see them play it much more aggressive, which they've already started to show.
And SHU has done a phenomenal job of getting to sites uncontested. Yes, it might cost them a man or two in the initial play, but once they actually get onto site, they've done such a great job post-plant that it's been really difficult for Baker to really contest any of these angles.
Early drone, see if they could pull any focus. Nothing just yet. They're going to do their due diligence here. No one initially on this default on this angle, so they're actually going to flash their way in. They'll clear all of corner. Last go around, we saw them drop some util here, both the Omen and the Breach, and then dip right off, just looking to pull players. And this time, it's just a pull for the Orb. It's gotten 2 Astra Stars down as well. Those are going to have that 10-second recharge window as well. So they've got themselves a lot of spacing here. All this Astra util almost down. Just 1 star still sitting in the inventory right now. That gives them a chance to really work a quick execute. As they start to push Noble forwards, just trying to hold players in the mid. Has done a good job at that, but it's a clean Marshall shot that has that crosses number. Ladder finally gonna get utiled off, so they do get to sight, but it costs them a man.
And that's exactly what we've been talking about, right? SHU has been really good about getting to these sites relatively uncontested. Super with a pair of them into heaven. They might be anti-ecos, but they still count for ult charge. Showstopper's ready for raise. Drago's up in heaven already, looks for one more, but he isn't quite gonna get it. Noble's got his back though, thankfully. So Nami up to the Astro one more time to see if they can recover a rifle of some sort or recover anything into this round. They have one underneath them, maybe. Yep, picks up the Phantom, but the sound cue is made, so they know the last player is Heaven. Nami's going to try and drop out, and Super's got it covered from screens. A 4th round to SHU already.
Yeah, 3K picked up for Super. Great movement for them to initially open the door there. First satchel goes through to get them on top of the Heaven look. They get a headshot angle. They grab the first. Second look coming through. They're getting caught by the satchel, manage to find the frag, and then satchel themselves away from danger. And as that goes on, Drago shrouded step to Heaven, and that one's covered by all that satchel noise. So really good recognition from the Saints there. They play that really nicely. And yet, to your pre-round point, 1 round to go, they've done a great job of recognizing where this Baker College defense is, rotating away from it, and using their util efficiently to hold players exactly where they want them to be. The mind gaming has been phenomenal thus far. The IGL job's been fantastic. This Showstopper's getting nowhere, but sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. At least they've got space now to work this mail room if they'd like to.
Look at the damage, though, that was dealt to the Baker College Breach off of that Showstopper. I mean, it might have been blind, and you don't actually know whether or not you tagged him, but Riceball's down to 1 bullet already, even if Super is as well. Adapter Die's going to come in from the Vice, so all the primaries are going to be forced off right now. You have to use sidearms only. Super's been really patient on the stairs angle, and they haven't really taken anything, have SHU off the back of that. They break the Yoru clone. Trades come back either way. Fate and Riceballin doing a nice job of holding, but not before Drago swings out from Heaven. Riceballin, the 1 HP Breach, has been doing a tremendous job of holding, and Drago has to shoot blindly into his smoke, trying to run down Riceballin. He doesn't quite get it on that jump spot, but Riceballin has to reload the rifle. Drago swings out 1 HP. Basically, 2 bullets the difference. He's going to ult to the opposite side of the world, and it's going to force Nami into a one-on-one clutch, where Drago has all the information in the world to work with.
But we'll lose it as time goes on. And Nami has full smokes here, so has control, I'd argue, back into their favor. Drago early TP, gonna send this one to hell. Anticipating that this play comes all the way down to sewers. As Nami starts the smoke, you should get some sort of intuition that this player most likely trying to cross. That peak gonna give the information. All you gotta do is throw down a smoke here and walk forward. They'll concuss instead, but still going to get the site. Can look to try to fake this defuse as well. Siomi gonna push forward now. Defuse started. Drago, actually some very good positioning here, and I don't believe that spike is halved either. Patient as ever, it is half. Hasn't stepped into it just yet, but Nami's got the read like no other. But do they have the defuse? They certainly do. Baker will come out by the likes of the Astra with their first round win.
Great patience, right, from Baker. I mean, from Nami, especially in this one-on-one clutch, having the perfect read on where Drago ended up in that play. Perfect utility, smoke on the bomb. Patient with the plant. Sorry, not with the plant. With the defuse to get it to half. Just taking as much time as possible, and I think Drago might have had his barrel sticking in when he was walking into that smoke, so really, really nice from Nami there.
That read already coming through as well, before the barrel even has a chance to get recognized, just turning on it. Knows exactly where to look, and nails the job there. Salvo's early field as well for this team to try to push forward. They wanted to play Orb again, but they played straight into the jaws of Nami, who's good for another. That one straight through the smoke. Are you kidding me? 2 rounds in a row. They just know exactly where these players are, able to take them down. In Baker College, a 2-man advantage in a great situation. But Super looking into play. Spoiler, has to have the first, doesn't. Demon will take them down instead. They're bedeviled in the back line. And this round, done and dusted.
Wow. We did say that there was a round that was done and dusted in our previous series, and they had a similar weapon set up to this one, but it was a 2-on-4 last time in that Winthrop-Fisher matchup. SHU Revenge, for the side of SHU, armed only with the Outlaw, which you will assume is only good for maybe 2 at the most, obviously, and then you have to reload. The sidearm, you're going to assume it's classic. The Flash is going to give great information over to Baker. They're going to rotate players up into heaven and just stall this one out. I mean, if Revenge even gets a plant down, that is a miracle for SHU.
Yeah, now we look at where does SHU look to play in the future. I'd expect them to poke a lot heavier towards A. That's Revenge will fall. They've been playing pretty heavily into B main. Finally, there's an extra man bumped over much further here. They float one over towards Vent, which allows for, or not Vent, excuse me, float over towards Ramp, which allows Nami to then step into box. Has the positioning there to spray them down. They took Orb literally the round before, so that's an early adaptation from Baker to shut that down, shut down the extra ult econ there in that round as well, which they're now going to have control of into this one. I think if you're Baker, you kind of read into this A push as well, looking back towards that ramp execution that came in that pistol. They actually haven't moved players in that direction. They're expecting the Saints to double down, and the read pretty solid.
Yeah, there's a lot of mid-utility here from both sides, as Noble's drone is stunned a little bit by the same fault line of his own breach, so a little bit of anti-synergy there, but you want to get those people off the line. I'm surprised from SHU that Baker, as Super finds the opening kill, that's raised diff in all chat, looking really tasty right now. I'm surprised SHU didn't stick to the same sort of default ult economy sort of look that they have, because Baker, yes, you had that fantastic opening spray down from Nami, and then the one tap to boot, but you don't always have those heat seekers, right? I assumed SHU would fall back into something a little bit more traditional, maybe a 2-2-1 or something like that, but now they've wrestled it back into a 4-1 where they have the man advantage, so they can explode whenever they want.
Yeah, I think the concern is there on B main. Does the opposing side execute in, and then there's trouble. Nami yet again going to spray down one. This time around, they put the paranoia on them, so they bring the blindness to them rather than the smoke, and Rice Ball and bringing the heat picks up 2 on the back of sight. Flashpoint now looking to shut down this Omen, but Drago still kicking. He's still alive in hell. Finally shut down by Ladder, and it's a 1v2. Fate's op shot goes awry. There's a chance here at this one still. The Vise to pick up 1. It is going to be full shield onto Fate at the current moment. Plant will go down for Revenge. In the meantime, a clone to walk into the backline. Revenge not caught off guard by any means. They have to win this fight against what is this one-click kill stick. So patient from Revenge, playing this one perfectly. Fate looks the other direction. There was a chance. Couldn't find it just yet, though. Both players on classics now. 2 bullets in the gun, and they cannot find their mark. Fate will grab a rifle and will find the frag. It's Baker College now, just 1 round, the difference.
And it really felt like Revenge was seizing the moment there. The first op shot from Fate going wide, like you mentioned. And once SHU's lone player was actually able to find the first kill on that 1-on-2, you had to figure Revenge had Fate exactly where they wanted them. But the shot goes a little bit wide. The second shot, maybe a little bit of a guessing game on playing Ring Around the Rosie with that pillar, and you guess wrong, a couple of bullets go the wrong way, and it's just 1 round the difference, like you said.
So Baker College have done a fantastic job of adapting to this mid space from the Saints, and a good job of adapting to their early hold. And it's really been Nami shutting down this B site, has made it look absolutely impenetrable. And for that reason, it is the Saints now looking for a much heavier A-lean. This is what we saw in the pistol. They put a lot of effort into early ramp control, and that was pretty much it. They brought an Omen up this time around. It'll be the Raze instead. They don't actually manage to make the full cross either, so I think you recognize here if you're Baker, this probably doesn't go in this direction, but it's taking them a bit of time to move the floaters back over. Fate has to hit this shot, and it'll be to the legs instead, and they're pushed off the angle.
Fate having such an aggressive line there allows Baker to do basically whatever they want. Demon being posted on this angle has to be ready for Revenge, and he is with the instant headshot. The trade is miles away from SHU, so Baker with a very clean man advantage, and there's not really too much exec potential. I say that as Super takes down Demon, so the refrag does come through eventually, and Noble's found his way onto site with 2 teammates here ready for him. Teleport from Omen towards backside, but it's fake towards Heaven, so you have to assume that there's a Raptors player here for Baker when you retake.
Yep. Yeah, really good catch. And that's going to opt for them to all play down instead. Really good jump spot from Fate. Knows there isn't a player there now as Rice Ballin will take the trade for it. Yuri out with the classic, has done his due diligence at the very least. So the Heaven player now has an easier time. They're going to look to divide here and go all the way towards the back of site. They've got a lot of room, and Nami now out of Heaven, knowing that player's not Rafter, can swing out. Rice Ball in the second from back of site, and now it's a 1v3. And a divide that's working perfectly in their favor. Defuse started. Noble's got no idea. Has to swing. And Nami, yet again, to shut down the B site, whether it is pre or post plant. It's 4-4. Baker have tied things up on a 4-0 run.
They're doing a fantastic job. And again, the patience with all the utility coming down, with all the chaos that's being brought. I mean, the Tejo rockets are there as well, coming through the Astro Wall that was placed by Nami. The chaos of the round, and yet still the presence of mind from Baker to stick the spike to half and force Noble to go all the way around the long side of the pillar to be able to swing out. But of course, you have 2 guns watching, one post on either angle. SHU looking a little bit shaken up here as they move to the Stinger buy.
Ladder going to fall off early. Is caught with util here by their own doppelganger. Now will swing out. That's a fantastic flash on a Drago stuck on a wall. I'm not even sure if they know they're up there in that moment. A teammate got to pick up one, Super another. And value coming out of the econ weaponry. Demon Showstopper, though, playing spoiler. Showstopped indeed. It's T-Man to elbow, and Noble, they're trying to shoot their way back into this round. And they've done so thus far. Plant's going to go down. Noble, more work to do. Can't do it. And Nami, yet again, to crush the hearts. It's 5-4.
And it did get messy, right? There were chances for SHU to really advance their position. You feel like if the smokes player didn't go down so early, you put the orb smoke into the screens area and you let them close the distance on that screens player, things get really, really difficult for Baker there, but it's good presence of mind, and the site players for Baker getting 1 apiece and turning it into a 3-on-3. That is exactly what you need to do so that the rest of your teammates can clean it up on the retake.
Ooh, we finally get a new offensive look here, recognizing the chess match not quite going in our favor any longer. And what do? You switch things up entirely. They're going to force the issue. Fate's going to be close with this op, but hasn't really been money on it thus far, and that trend yet again continues. A body shot, all it's going to take. And so we'll now move over. They'll TP themselves the screens, but all the space in the world for the Saints now. Just a matter of planting and holding on.
I still like that aggressive look from Fate, and as Drago takes down Ladder and SHU becomes a little more patient, I say, as Fate finally finishes meal there. It's super. Demon with this wraparound hits the wall. Noble was ready, but didn't quite have the shot. So all 3 players for SHU pinned in on site here. Demon has his pick of where he wants to swing. He's going to drone into lower. Real quick just to clear it all out. Has the grenade ready for backside. Fate up close and personal. Gets traded back by T-Man. 1 on 3. Can Revenge clutch this one out? He had the chance earlier. Can he avenge himself? The answer is no. Rice Ball and shuts him down. And the 6th round picked up for Baker. They've really wrestled this half back.
Exactly what I want to see my Rays do in that situation. We've got a 3-on-1. Other 2 are coming to swarm their way out elbow. All I need you to do is just double satchel your way in, be the distraction, force the player to look at you, and then we can all flood. Someone's guaranteed to get the kill if you triple swing this thing. That's exactly what happened. No one goes down. In addition, and you know, it might be time for a timeout. It's been 6 straight for Baker College. The Saints switch things up in that round, and the answer is not the one they would have hoped for. You get 2. You get 1 every half.
Yep. Well, they do carry over,
saying.
right?
I'm just saying.
You make an excellent point, Kat. I would likely have taken a timeout after the 4-0 start got equalized into 4-4, but definitely here as Fate continues to find these opening, if not damage, then the kills as well. I mean, that's fantastic from Fate. It's great to see him staying on these aggressive lines, even if the shots aren't quite ringing all the time.
Gonna have a chance at another as well. Didn't move off the angle entirely. That one, not on the money, would have looked for a wall bang there, hoping for at least a bit of damage. Couldn't quite get the job done. And there is some space here left towards mid, but if you're Baker, you're kind of intentionally funneling this team in this direction. You've got Util on the top of A, so Heaven's not an issue. You've got players on B, 3 of them in fact, so not too worried about this one. And you've got an ult to push them away if they try to get chippy. So that sent them back. That's going to kill a lot of time. You're looking at about a 30-second execute now. If you are the Saints, you're down weaponry. You have to play this one incredibly fast, and you haven't cleared anything when it comes to B main.
Interesting to see the breach ult invested so early by Baker there with really no one to trade off of it. I say as Demon is in position to take down Noble. The reload comes in a bit awkward of a time, but it's not quite punished because of the inferior weaponry that the Saints have here. Have to drop down out of heaven. Rice Ball and takes down this opposite number on that breach, and once again, they're just in prime position to clean the house one more time. A run up from stairs is going to do all the damage necessary for Demon's Nade to find its mark. 7-4 is the score right now.
It's D-Wade to Braun on the Demon Nade. Just forcing the player back in. Sheriff for chip damage, and that one nailing Revenge. Nowhere to go. And the Saints, yet again, just getting beat in this chess match. They're getting checkmated their way directly into mid. They play their way into the only option they've had, which is either Mailroom or Heaven, and everybody ready for them, for the Baker College defense. Doing a great job of adapting after those first 4 rounds. And if you're the Saints, you've got 1 more in the tank. You got another gun round. You win this one, it's only 2 rounds of difference.
It would be nice to see from them, because then a pistol round goes your way. You're right back in this game. It's 7-all. But if you don't, things could be catastrophic here with Baker converting this one and then flipping the pistols on the opposite side. You get on map point real fast.
Super gonna hold space now in towards Vent. Just gonna sit on it. This is what we've seen from them in the first couple rounds. What was winning them these rounds as well. They're gonna look to ult their way through Heaven. That's an investment, and one that hasn't garnered space just yet. Fate finally beat on this close angle as they rush players up ramp, and room indeed. Noble will find another. T-Man Aftershock forcing Rice Ball out, but a fantastic flashpoint to pick up 1. A trade back to the direction, and Heaven will find value as well. Drago has that, and this is a pinch if I've ever seen one onto the Astra of Nami. Drago a 3K, and SHU will take a much needed round. They've got it back to 2 as we flip the sides.
So it does feel bad, obviously, starting up 4-0 to end the half 5-7. But with that being said, if you do manage to, if SHU manages to convert this pistol and then obviously convert the bonus, oh sorry, not the bonus afterwards, the buy up afterwards, 7-all here, very, very playable for them. They have the tools to make fast plays here. The Tejo utility coming off the back of the breach stuff, you can actually get kills with those rockets. It's something really devastating that you can do. Utility combos, guys. Important stuff for SHU's side in order to make this stuff happen. On the other side, Baker, want to see them be a little bit aggressive here on this attacker side. What exactly can they get accomplished? What can they get done?
All right, we kick off our second half. How does the Saints defense look? We'll find out the answer as this one plays on. The start towards ramp here for Baker. They walk it back rather quickly, though. They're going to look to take this space in main instead, and the Saints have a nasty surprise for them in the back end. Paint Shell going to give them info on at least one. It should have players turn around as well into this fight. Let's put the wall up instead, but they're in front of the wall looking to trick this team, but Super not caught off guard. Does manage to get traded, though. So space right now for Baker. They've got sight. Also got some cheeky positioning as Ladder finds one, traded quickly. It's a 3-on-3 for the retake.
Noble's drone has to find huge information here. If you don't know anything else, you just know that you're blasting them here out of elbow. But Noble's been smoked off, and he's not swinging off of that breach charge. Baker has so much time to be ready for this. Another fault line sidestepped. Drago takes down one more before Demon trades it, and Nami has his back despite another headshot from Drago. The 8th round coming through from Baker in a nice post plant.
It's always this Astra, the thorn in the sides for the Saints. They get value, they get players dead, but it feels like Nami is always there. Initially kicked off what was that 7-1 run to end the first half by finding 3 through smoke over on B site. Now offensively continuing the efforts when it comes to that first post plant. They got the first round. They're looking yet again to string some together. It's just a Bucky on the other end of things, and they're working their way up mid.
And the Bucky, importantly, is posted up on ramp, and now it's going to be moving back into CT. So it's not going to be making contact for SHU very quickly. Probably going to rotate it up into heaven and then just look to post it up in mail. But the vastly superior weaponry for Baker, I'll assume that they'll just take their picks where they can find them, slow it down as much as you can want, and just stay together. You do not want to give these pistols any opportunity to swarm their way back into this round.
100%. As the ladder will find Super. This team looking to see how confidently they can take this round. Would love to keep as many weapons alive as possible. And that util in mid is enough to pull this entire team away. They've moved away from male. They've got just the Omen left floating on B, and everything else is on the A site. Baker, this is exactly how you drew this one up on the whiteboard. Can they make good on it? You certainly would have to hope so. Fault line going to come in. Drago stunned, has a chance for one, and nails it.
Patient from Baker. It could have gotten messy if Drago was able to find the second one, because the immediate fault line stun was not punished, right? I mean, the blast back, I'm not going to say it was a little bit too far. I'm just going to say that it was not immediately traded off of her. It was not immediately converted. But Fate has this line. Rice Ballin has another kill. SHU is just going to look to hold Baker on site, see if they can use the spike on their side as sort of the 6th man here to try and deplete some of that economy from Baker. But for all intents and purposes, this is the 9th round for Baker on a nice run right now. They've given up, what, one more since that 0-4 start?
Yeah, after this round, it'll be a 9-1 run, as it currently sits for Baker. Just really in control of things since round 5. Just even the timeline there. Spike will detonate. Both players will die for the econ. And decent weaponry going into this one. They'll get an Outlaw. They'll take 2 Bulldogs, a Spectre, and honestly, Demon... I would have loved to see the rifle come out, but oh,
you still have a chance.
It's not too late. I would love to see another rifle come out for this team. It'll be the shotguns instead. So they're going to play this round very quickly. And the Saints, they've been getting beat in mid these first couple of rounds. I argue they've been kind of beating themselves, though, when it comes to leaving so quickly and giving all that room into male. This time, they're going to lock 2 players in male. Everything else, though, is A, looking for just a hard read on what is a gun round with better utility. Interesting choice, and one that is going to bite them. B-side executes on the way.
I gotta say, I like this from a fast-moving comp like what Baker has here. You have you have 1.5 movement duelists. I mean, the Yoru kind of a duelist initiator hybrid. Demon already made his way into CT, taking down Noble. Has the chance to cut off these rotates and does a tremendous job. Yeah.
Almost gets out as well. Was hoping to grab the rifle, and that slowed down that movement as Drago's Judge will pick up one. Super is biting into sight where Nami's there to take him out. Drago rifle picked up, and an Outlaw shot through the box. We'll wait for them on the other end of things. It's Baker to win another. It's 10-5. It's econ broken, and we are falling into a pit for SHU.
And it's brutal because that's that was your buy round, right? And Baker with with a weapon disadvantage, we'll say, explodes straight onto the site. I really liked the call from them, just keeping the light buy weapons, even if stuff goes wrong. Okay, you still have 2 buys left in the chamber. Now they're on the verge of 3, and they've got a 5-round lead with a gun advantage in this round, looking to pick up their 11th. Baker is in prime position here to pick up this first map.
Yeah, without a doubt. And not to mention now, on this 10-1 run, we have yet to see a timeout from this team. Have not vowed to slow down play at this time. Still, though, as it sits because of those early rounds, are only down 5. The recency bias does make it feel worse than it truly is. If they don't start winning soon, the mountain is looking to topple.
It just goes back to, in a game like Valorant, MR13 format, it is so unforgiving. Every round really does matter. It's tried and true, right? But pistols matter. The rounds afterwards, they matter. When you're in a game that's only 5 rounds, the difference, every small decision that you make, those 1v1 clutches, the 2-on-2 situations that you have post-plant, that SHU was unable to convert a couple of times against Baker's strong retakes. Every one of these decisions matters. Like Super deciding to tuck in here on ramp and hearing this full attack coming in from main, waiting patiently and biding his time at the right time for a pair of them before Demon finally tries to find something back on site. Super has Nami's information. Fate takes down Drago, but Super's on 3, looking for the 4th, not quite gonna find it, but Revenge has his back, and T-Man's gonna clean it up from screens. Really, really messy there, but great patience from Super.
Yeah, fantastic work from Super to get the job done. Fate's able to pick up one early, turned on Super, but just a sharp 90 degrees to the left and a better headshot to follow it up. Gets the round back into their control. Nami tries to come out of a smoke, tries to catch players off guard, grabs one, but there's a second. Ready and wait. Finally, a round picked up. It's a 10-2 run now. And the Saints looking to garner momentum back. They'll put an operator onto Drago. That's one's going to sit all the way over towards B. And Baker will play what you asked for, that 2-2-1 default. It ended up being a 1-3-1 now as they push their way towards mid.
If you looked at, if you had a second to take a look at that scoreboard there, obviously, Baker and SHU are very, very close in terms of kill distribution. It's about 7 kills the difference, but it's 4 rounds the difference. That should tell you something about how close these rounds have been. And openings like that from Super are what's going to bring SHU back into this if they want any chance at wrestling their map pick away from Baker.
Yeah, they're not going to win. In terms of the macro sense right now, it might be the micro to be the difference. A player's going to need to heat up, and that has been Super. Definitely slowly turning the burner on. As the knob gets cranked, Revenge will pick up one. Traded back quickly, though, so having control for Baker. That op is here, ready and wait. It's going to pick up one. Drago actually able to escape as well. Demon will fall off Rafter, still stuck in the stun. Great positioning off of that satchel movement. Fate will pick up another. Drago's op does find blood. Same with Super in the back line. It'll be 7-10 as SHU will put 2 rounds together.
Even though Demon was eventually shut down, can we just take a moment to appreciate being nearsighted, that raise movement to get on top of Nubox and find one more kill? That's unbelievable stalling from the duelist from Baker. But the timeout is going to come through, but it's not from the side that you would expect. Timeout Baker. After SHU, able to string a couple of rounds together.
I mean, I'd argue, once the other team gets some momentum, if something's going awry, it's always a great idea to, take a quick pause and get back on track.
It's true, but I was more so talking about us in the context of this game, right? If any timeouts were being called, you would have expected it from being
that's
from
the sarcasm.
SHU. Yeah,
yeah, that's the sarcasm of it.
I'm with you in terms of the momentum. I mean, going from a 3-0 streak on this half to suddenly having a couple of them reeled back the other way, your economy is in a rough spot if you lose this one. Baker needs to call a couple of plays here and see what they can pull out.
I think we really just play for Super here early ramp. It's been 2 rounds in a row. They've gone in that direction. They've looked for an early pick, trying to shut down what is the default of this team. I wouldn't be shocked if they play a fault line on it early and just look to get Super dead. The only thing about taking that minute timeout is the fact that the other team gets to do the same, so they get to think about it, they get to counter strat it. Does look Super still in that direction, but I don't think they're going to play nearly as aggressively off ramp. That's not what they're showing right now. They're playing the Crossfire instead between screens and heaven. So this might not work in Baker's favor, but I wouldn't be shocked if they push it off if they need to. Early ults online.
Interesting to have Drago's op being posted in mid, and this Dimensional Drift is finding a lot of information. Not quite body blocked into that fault line, but Fate's going to collect information on 2 more players in CT. Demon's going to blast his way through as quickly as humanly possible, but it just means that Baker has their site control, but Super is going to get 1 more through the smoke with that showstopper. Phenomenal job from SHG to secure a man advantage, and damage is down on Baker's Raze. Swing through the smoke's not quite going to be good. Demon's going to take down his opposite number, Super, and he's going to go a little bit further and take down T-Man. This 2-man stack on the ramp is pushing up aggressive. Demon's tucked in that corner. Nami and Drago are trading it back and forth, but Baker is coming out on top after timeout plays. 1-0 in this one real quick. 100% success rate.
Sometimes all you need is a quick timeout to get the players back energized. Demon looked amped coming out of that one. You can see it in the way that Crosshair is moving, how quickly the mouse is flicking from side to side, just purely off one there. And some players, you know, overheat quickly off of that sort of hype. Not the case for Demon in that one. Still able to come through and find the third coming out of smoke out of heaven rather quickly in addition. And Baker, they work A, they hit it quickly, they force this SHU team to play it a little bit harder, and they'll step off. They'll go back towards mid. They're going to try to slow the pace back yet again and get this game into their control.
Unfortunate for Revenge if he were a little bit closer in there, as the Armageddon gets dropped to clear out all of mid for good. Super finds Ladder on the map, just lurking a little bit, maybe a little too wide from Ladder, but it's nice from SHU's duelist to actually find them another man advantage. So despite the difficulty that they'll have holding this mid angle, the man advantage being secured by SHU does give them a lot of room to play with.
We'll look up Mail. Advising this close angle, a shot you've got to hit here and hope they don't clear. You do want a stinger this close, and that's exactly why. It'll find Purchase on the head. Revenge to pick up 1. We'll spray the rest of the way down. There's a rifle at their disposal now as well. So a clean gun upgrade, a good heaven hold. And that's the second pick picked up early against Baker College.
I gotta say, I like having SHU be aggressive with how they're taking these fights. You want to put yourself in a position, obviously, to where you can show off your mechanical ability, and I think they're doing a good job of that in some of these 2-on-2 or 2-on-3 with util assisted sort of situations. Nice turn on that flash by Fate, but T-Man's got it covered on Heaven, and Nami's going to be closed out by Drago. An 8th round for SHU. They're still trying to make a game out of this one.
They most certainly are. And that's the value of them winning those first 4. That run came through, but there's still extra rounds in the tank for them to come back in terms of this full race. And so momentum at their disposal. They're going to win 3 of the last 4. And Baker College, they took a timeout, opted to switch the tempo for a round, ran it back down towards mid, struggled yet again, and the default moves once more. Spike stuck towards sewer makes me feel like the goal is to hit A at the end of this round. It depends on what happens here in mid.
There's so much time to pop all of this Vice utility, right? And you can be as slow as you want about it. The Yoru clone is going to make it hurry up, obviously, in terms of breaking that util. But popping the Thorns there too, the first line of Thorns, really nice for Baker. They've taken this whole area mid for the cost of a Yoru clone and a Breach insert. The Raze, Demon gets past Super's line. Noble takes him down though past that line, so the line is being held.
Whoa.
Super crazy flick back in the vent. Yeah, you're not kidding with that hyperbole there of any sort. Super with another instant headshot. Blast backing up. This aggressive is a little bit unwarranted, I would say. Ladder does clean him up at the end, but the damage has been done. SHU is looking to hold here against Baker. Both players on very, very low health. 3 bullets is enough to close this round out.
Yeah, the dam currently overflowing. Baker College gonna work their way into A. Not really time to flip the map either. Let's see what they can grab here. You just gotta hit shots. As it currently sits, and T-Man gonna grab both from screens the other direction. So the Saints knocking on the door of getting this game back tied. They'll pick up the last 2. This gun round will tell quite the story.
And obviously, you don't want to be super critical of teams after they've won the round in 4-on-1 fashion like that. It could have gotten a little bit ugly. I'm not sure how huge a fan I am of Noble having utility out, knowing the damage has been done to the A main players. I think you probably just want to hold your rifle and be able to play so that T-Man can swing off of your contact. With that being said, I suppose having the util out, you still get the information, and you still get the round, most importantly. SHU is in good position to keep contesting for another round here. They have the op as well.
So back to this orb control for Baker. They'll pick up the B orb, make a bit of noise, and now walk back away. Yet again, they're going to go back to mid. It's been what they leaned on initially. So SHU have had the number for quite a bit of time. Let's see what they can find here.
Oh,
First shot on the op, just off the money. Good space for Yoru here, who is going to clone up. No one caught by it, recognizing they vacated the premises. They're hoping they can make enough A noise to flip the map here to try to get this Vise away and to work this B site. They've still got a minute to play, but they've got to work just a little bit faster. And Super has been so tough. Good for another. He's going to pick up all three there. So the fake gets absolutely decimated. There's no reason to move if you're the defense because nobody's gone down. Rice Ballin going to fall as well. And it's a flawless round for SHU. Now just one within time.
and Super, what can you say about this guy that hasn't been said so far? The absolute difference maker here on ramp. SHU has not struggled at all to hold A site because of the opening kills that this guy has gotten. Super is going unreal, 23 and 14 so far, almost plus 10, with the majority of that coming on this defensive side. It's a one-round game again, Cat. This is anyone's game.
Yeah, talk about the mental toughness of this team. To watch so many rounds go the opponent's way and to bounce right back. And might I say, the bounce back came after the Baker College timeout.
SHU really taking advantage of everything they have here, and as Baker makes their way up aggressively, SHU more than happy to play this a little bit slower. The drone's going to come in, not quite going to find either of them, but the Breach Ultimate's going to force them back before it gets traded the other way. So some stall versus stall here. T-Man gets the first, and he gets the second off of some great utility. Nami gets one more, but Noble shuts them out of the round immediately. And now the last players pinned in on the backside. Revenge gets one, Noble gets the other. 11-11. Make a wish. SHU has tied us up here.
Oh my goodness, they are cooking. Showing us why is their map pick now at no better time. Just 2 away from taking this thing. 1 away from securing OT. And a timeout for Baker. They're going to try to slow this thing down. Slow down the freight train that has been this defensive half. They just had no answers. It feels like the only real rounds they've been able to convert since the initial 2 was just a rundown A where they had to just win the fights off pure mechanics.
And Baker, heads up, I think Baker is winning a lot of the duels, provided you are not fighting against Super. I mean, it might be a little bit crazy and Blaze here, but Super has, he's been multiing.
Crazy to say
he's been dropping them.
It is not crazy to say that. I mean, you can look 2 rounds ago, they try to fake and flip the map over an A main, and it's one dude. It's not even any util. It's just Super stands ramp, takes the first 2 in the same spray, and the third to go with it. Can't fake it because one dude does all the work there. When it comes to A, when it comes to A ramp, when it comes to A heaven, it's Super all day, living up to their name without a doubt. And that gives you a lot of headache here if you are this offensive half of recognizing they're not even like out utiling us. We got to find a way to take this player down, and you can't just throw util into A ramp to try to find one player. Kills the entire rest of the execute for the later stage of the round.
You just gotta think at this point, I mean, as corny and simple as it sounds, Baker, you just gotta find where Super is. You gotta hit away from this guy, man. Like, as far as the heater that he's on. The smoke here, nice pre-fire from Super yet again. Knows exactly where to pre-fire on that ult orb position. Another man advantage for SHU off of the Baker timeout.
And it's an ironic moment there. You say they gotta get away from Super. Super moves sights after the timeout, and he's everywhere. He's right back on him. Catches him very early yet again. And now it's a Baker team left reeling. Couldn't get what they were hoping for out of this timeout. They've got a minute to play, but they haven't really committed to anything just yet. It makes me feel a bit nervous for the later stages of this round. Ladder's going to look to play Heaven. Not spotted just yet. The angle's so deep. This is a fight that you really want to win if you're Baker. It won't get the chance. It's just a couple gunshots traded both ways. And we're stalled out here, looking to push through B main. Showstopper online, and Demon will pick up one.
And the nade back sight is going to be really well timed. Plus the stun, Rice Ballin with the wall bang is going to take out Noble. Nami with another headshot onto Revenge, and Ladder on the lurk actually does end up killing the Stairs player. All up to Drago. So the man advantage for SHU, but the conversion looking to come through from Baker. Oh no. That's unfortunate.
Hey. How's it going? Ladder to pick it up. Baker. They'll take a round at an opportune time, and no, I don't want to say that. There's a lot of SHU fans in the chat, so don't get mad now. But this would be a very tough loss.
Yeah, with the comeback that they had on the defender side, I mean, they looked so clean for 6 out of the last 7 rounds. That one, the one that gets away from them, really. One of the other rounds comes down to individual heroics. You live with the 1v1, you die with the 1v1. It happens. But this utility and this fast mid contest, as Super is out of the round, he has to just watch with a gray screen. He has to watch his friend's POV. As Noble's going to look to walk down a little bit farther, see what he can hold on this angle. The flash comes through, and it's good. But the utility damage, Noble gets a lineup! And he sends it the other way in a hurry.
And he's out.
SHU, I don't know how he's done it.
They try to jam the primary, and he's already gone. They can't even trade that thing back. Now it's a man disadvantage. They got a very low player on the other end, and they know it. They're going to look to send Ladder yet again back into this anti-flank position. Going to just hold for now. A lot of noise made where, fortunately, no one can hear it. They've got space to play on. Ladder's found Noble. What purchase that is from the Vise. Now they can do whatever they want. They've got time. They've got room in mid. It's up to what decision are they going to make. This Omen has nothing B main. That might cost them. Oh, it's going to move the breach.
Oh no, he's going to assume it's clear. And Baker does have a lurker here, so they're
and the
selling
Vi's going to sell it. Yeah, that Omenal really helps Baker here. Has to look to step forward. Fortunately, they do have this Vice so far forward ramp. They know there is nothing here. So they're able to hold 2 players, but it's up to Drago to really have value on the front of this push. It hasn't been able to do so thus far. Now caught by Rice Ballin. All the room in the world for Baker. A second picked up off the spray. It's wild from the Phantom, but it's certainly enough. Plant's gone down, and it's all up to Revenge coming off of the A site. Able to force them in this direction, gave their teammates a chance. But now they have to push so much further if they're going to convert. The first found,
wow.
The second, and it's a 1v1. The Doppelgangers, the Vibes will face off 1v1. Ladder's out first, he has it. It's Baker to come back for the last 2 rounds. They take map number 1, 13-11.
And Kat, I've got some bad news for you. Those fans in the chat, those SHU fans you were talking about, this might be a bad loss on their map pick. It is. That is just a brutal way to lose that one. Coming back all the way, 10-5 down, 11-11 the scoreline, and then losing a after timeout round where you have a man advantage given to you by Super. And then that second round as well, having the advantage somehow given away by Super, and then brought back, rescued from the jaws of defeat by Noble. Not quite enough. 13-11 the final score. Baker 1-0 in the series.
It's a 10-1 run for Baker from round 5 onward. Round 16, we see this side of SHU start to cook. They're able to go on a run of their own. They go on a 6-1 run, and then those final 2 rounds come back to bite them. That one hurts. There's nothing more you can truly say about it. Let's go to break. Let's get to the next map. Map 2 on the way. Baker, they love to see it.
And welcome back, everyone, to potentially the final map of the evening. Baker with a 1-0 lead in this series off the back of a 13-11. Well, I can't really say heist of SHU's map pick, but they did take it away. And despite some heroics from Super, it was not quite enough for SHU to get it across the line. It was a thrilling 24-round affair. But Kat, what do you want to look forward to in map 2?
Before we get there, I actually would call it a heist. I think very comfortable end of the map, and it really felt like they dropped the football on the 1 yard line, and it was a fumble recovered the other direction. That is a really, really tough loss. I think in map 2, I want to see this team slow down when they do start to take deficits. That's the number one thing for me. I think the fact that you really see the momentum switch when SHU takes timeouts. I mean, Baker, you can do the same thing, or the other way around.
The other way around, yeah.
The other way around, excuse me. Yeah, Baker took timeouts, and we saw adjustments come through for Siena Heights. Excuse me. I think they can do the exact same thing. You get two as well. Please use them, because it definitely did make a difference for this team. When it comes to this one, we really don't know how SHU plays it. We haven't seen them play it yet in the LCQ bracket at the very least. Not a ton of official data on it either. On the other end, though, Baker win 13-10 against Cavern in Mobap. So that's a pretty comfortable win for them coming off of last series. So you'd have to give them the statistical odds, but you never know. It's the day of. It's why we play the games.
Absolutely. And obviously, this is what miracle runs and legends are made of, right? The 8 seed staring down the barrel of elimination, the 0-1 hole to be in this best of 3. It's win or go home. There are no other words for it.
Yeah.
Baker, pick of Lotus, like you mentioned. SHU will be on the attack. We'll have the same start as we did last map. Players to watch other than Super. Anything else you want to look at for SHU? Who else needs to step up if SHU wants to steal this one away and take us to map 3?
Well, I think it's a matter of the whole roster being able to execute effectively. In addition, I feel like a lot of those defensive rounds they convert are off Super finding 2 and 3Ks, just holding down ramp. Super has 9 first bloods in that map, so everyone else getting involved is just big in general. Drago had some value on the retake as well, so don't want to give everything up just to this Raze player, but I think we're still looking at this duelist matchup. The comp's obviously going to shift here. We get the chance to potentially see picks other than the Raze, but at the very least, Demon and Super both going to have value, so that will continue to be a 1v1 to look out for. But it's a matter of the rest of the team getting involved, not necessarily just in mechanics, but in execution, making sure that they're running their game plan efficiently, and it's not coming down to some of these higher firepower players just making big plays.
Absolutely, and that's a good way to think about it. Is obviously it is a team game, and it's easy to get caught up in all that with the highlights, like you all, the viewers, just saw in those replays. Yeah. You saw a number of multi-kills coming out from basically the same position from the same player. But with that being said, obviously it's a team game. That's why we play it. I'm interested in seeing the AWP matchups there, because there was a lot of emphasis for Baker to get Fate on that AWP as quickly as possible, and even there was a lot of damage done, but there weren't always the opening picks, and I feel like that half and the game as a whole goes so cleanly if Fate's able to pick off that opening player.
That's a great point. I mean, I think Fate puts himself in incredible positions throughout a lot of that map, but they end up, as you mentioned, with only 1 first blood. They're constantly there looking for that first pick, can't really find it. I think that stat line alone is a testament of that fact. And then they end the map 11 and 21 with what could easily be a 15 to 21 score line just off of those first bloods coming through alone. So they do a good job of getting Fate into good positions. They have good util to get Fate out of those positions. The Yuru does in addition with TP, but not finding a lot of purchase on that upgraded sniper weapon. So there does need to be some emphasis there on hitting the shots. But I mean, at the end of the day, right, they don't have to work Fate on that operator if that's not going to be the answer. You could also put it onto their controller, especially on a map like Lotus, where it is pretty easy to get sight lines if you're constantly moving players.
And speaking of their spokes player, their controller, Nami, let's not forget that they kicked this whole thing off with that 4-0 start for SHU. Yeah. Nami was the one to quiet them down in back-to-back rounds. First the 1v2 clutch, and then the 3K through that smoke, a pair on the orb, and then 1 Heat Seeker's headshot right through it. Phenomenal way for them to regain their footing, and it kicked off the recovery for the rest of the half for Baker.
Yeah, we look at Baker in their last bout with Mobap. It was Demon on the Yoru. So I am looking to see that come back out. I assume we lose the Yoru onto Fate, who played the Breach last go around, unless they switch things around in roles today, which looks like they certainly do not. So we'll see. I think Breach op is still pretty decent if they want to work it. We still got a Vise to go in the other direction here for Sienna Heights. And I think something we haven't even touched on yet, DK, is the fact that how do you recover mentally from last map? Something that, you know, we look at in professional play in terms of, do you have a performance coach? Do you have a coach specifically for emotions? A little bit more on towards the Rocket League side, but we have seen teams like EG start to prioritize members of their roster or their organization, excuse me, just for that one purpose. We did see them go down 10-1 and then start to come back. So we know that SHU can mentally reset, but it'll be so difficult to claw all the way back in map 1, lose the last 2. I would be boomed personally. I certainly hope this team can find some footing here and reset for the rest of the series.
What is worth noting, actually, is that SHU, if you are mental boomed and everything like that, what's one of the first things you can do is start with comfort, right? And SHU is running back the exact same draft. They have the exact same composition. Everyone's running their same agents. Baker switched it up a little bit. You see Demon is on the Yoru, like you were talking about, but Riceball's on the Tejo now, so you've got people swapping their roles up a little bit, trying to see where they can mix and match and find their angles here. But this defense from Baker, very, very aggressive, and T-Man gets the opening kill of the map, and if they are mental boomed, that's a nice way to lift your spirits a little bit, is to pick up a first blood that they were lacking a little bit of in map number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Winning this pistol would be massive for this team. This ladder will pick up super. That's the hot shot, the hot commodity to grab early. Jago gonna look to go door. There will be a bit of resistance here. This Omen, I like that call a lot. Give them the room. You know you've got Fate Heaven with utility. We'll give them spacing here and then look to pinch together. Nami, though, will fall down. And that gives a lot of room for SHU to now play post, play up a man.
I like this close angle here from T-Man and the Smokes player of SHU. They might flash themselves through this one on the fade. Here it comes. And Drago is nice and clean with it for SHU. 4-on-2, the man advantage in this post plant. Demon's on the angle, but Noble has the initial contact. Demon was sticking, so Revenge had to go explore. T-Man and Noble are going to clean it up, though. And that's a pistol picked up for SHU. It's similar to game 1.
That's what they like early, but yeah, similar to game 1, they took this and then the next 4, and then the earthquake hit the town. So still work to be done for this team, but they've gotten that first milestone out of the way. They'll look to go upgraded weaponry here as well. It's 2 rifles. They'll pull up 2 Guardians as well. Revenge yet to buy. Could buy Guardian if they'd like to. Haven't made the decision just yet, but Sheriff's on the other end. So around, they definitely are expecting to win, though you gotta make sure that you keep these rifles alive.
And keeping that economy up is going to be the name of the game. Look at this A main emphasis that is being placed from both teams. You have 8 of 10 players stuck here, and of course, the 9th, the Vice from SHU, could move over at any point in time. The flashes coming through the door. Drago and Riceball getting a pair. The Deeg headshot and the Rockets, but Noble trades back Nami, waiting for the repeat from Riceball. Is going to find it, but not quite going to get the kill. So Super's going to play nice and patient. Riceball's going to drop back onto site, and it's a 3-on-3 as the dust settles.
Just a lone breach towards tree. Just that you can get behind it. Does this drone spot? It does not. Ends just before. Super wants the smoke with spike in hand and just gave it away to Fate's Classic. Able to double right click, take the raise down, and that is trouble as Ladder finds another on the back end. Noble's dead. Revenge to pick up one. A clean 180 for the second as well. But Ladder has a rifle now, and there's no HP on this Vise, just 15. Full swing for Ladder. Takes it confidently. They went in with 4 rifles. They're all gone.
Yep, and they don't even find the round with it. That is the heartbreaking thing for SHU, who's now going to be forced down onto the Sheriffs, likely. Revenge, that was phenomenal. That 180 to be able to actually make a round out of that 1-on-3 situation. I really, really liked the patience, but Ladder was being every bit as patient. The Vice on Vice, Spy versus Spy sort of Spy, Vice versus Viper setup. Sorry about that one. But Ladder, a little bit more patient, and obviously a lot more health.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Ooh.
Demon to find the first, and Super will clap right back. Is forced out by the Aftershock, but once all the smoke, Revenge there to help as well. Great team play. And that might just shoot them back into this round. There's rifles to be converted, Inner Ice Balling, gonna play Spoiler. That one with all the visual clutter on their screen as well. The Shrapnel has a pseudo smoke, but it doesn't matter to this player. Now Ladder to get value out of Heaven. Just Drago, what can the Omen find? The answer is not. Ladder yet again will finish the job with a wall bang. It's 2-1 for Baker College.
Baker has done a really nice job of being there at the point of attack for SHE. They're figuring out very quickly, hey, it's not going to be C-side. We have our setup here. We have the Viper to fast rotate as well. So all of you guys, the other four, you guys just have to make sure that A and B are secure, and then we will move our additional players as necessary. Baker with a fluid defense here so far against SHU, looking real nice, and they have the operator on Demon, who's going to be posted most likely on that C line. Secure all of this information for Baker.
Early route push from both sides of the coin here. Drago with some positioning. That flash. Oh, that's their own teams as well. Is Nami going to pick up two? T-Man does trade it back. So answers for their sins and finds another to go with it. They've got the advantage route. They've got all the space towards site. It'll be a post-plant scenario.
The wall was tripped, right? So SHU knows that at least one person, or maybe it's the Yoru clone, has gone over their wall on the flank. So you should have a pretty good idea when that Viper poison comes in that there's one coming from either side, but it's just a 3-man setup from Baker towards Tree. How can SHU flush them out of this situation?
Really good recognition from Baker here. Clearing all back aside, know exactly where this one's going to go down. They got 2 flashes to work with here. First fault line out. That's a piece of util they're going to kind of want back. Double pop flash. Everybody's blind. And they still find Purchase. It's T-Man and Noble to close the last 2. And that's exactly where the scoreline is as well. 2 apiece for both teams. Round 5 on the way. A lot more money in the hands of the Saints.
And eventually, I mean, beyond a certain point, like, yes, you can play it as well as you want, but what can you do if you have 3 people firing at the same angle, even if they're blinded? Something's got to hit, and luckily for SHU, all of them do.
Yeah, good call on that one. I mean, there's only so many places the bullets can go. And you know that if you're the Saints as well, just trading on that first angle. So they'll pick it up. We'll go now over towards Mound, so a chance to play the other side of the map, and both teams actually opting to do the same. Great minds think alike, perhaps.
Another good
first
read
contact
from
on its way. Not to be added. It's going to be a fault line. And there's the push. The Eco currently winning. Demon and Navi to pick up 2 apiece. Noble to trade back. They need more than that, though. They haven't uprooted the Yoru just yet. Armageddon now online for Rice Ball, and he finds a pick, and it's a 3rd converted for Demon. As Baker College will go up around.
And look at all the weapons recovered for Baker. I mean, yes, that last round was brutal to lose to SHU, but you've done just as much damage the other direction. SHU is going to be a little bit half and half on this buy. You see some regen shields and some rifles. They're going to drop back down, probably go halvesies on it, but I mean, Baker, nice recovery. Good read from them to have 3 or 4 people already in position to intercept SHU.
Three rifles, 2 players who can't quite make the cut budget-wise. Demon early outlaw pick, Super shut down rather quickly. It was the matchup I was looking forward to seeing this map, and it hasn't disappointed thus far. So it'll be the spike to walk away for SHU. They'll bring it back over towards Mound. It didn't go their way last time, hoping for a different story.
That's the power of the Outlaw, right? Against these light armored opponents. Fate and Ladder holding it down right now despite the double flashes coming through. T-Man finding 1. Things only get ugly if they found the second one. T-Man probably going to be thankful if he can just get this spike down and call it a day. Free Fire's going to go a little bit wide. It looks like he will actually manage to get down, but he is going to get Tejo rocketed out of the round. You can't hide in between them. Rice Ballin takes him down from across the way. And it's all up to Revenge in a 1-on-4.
See Revenge cooked before. This time around, it's not to be. Demon will finish the job. And still just as amped as last series out of that timeout. There's got to be some sort of unnamed energy drink over there in the lab, no doubt. Up 2 rounds now is Baker College. Looking to continue the winning ways. A lot of ults, though, on the other end of things.
And the thing I like to see from how Baker is setting up these plays is if you just look at KDA, you see something very clear in the assist column. You see 7 assists from Fate here. That means Baker is doing a great job of converting off of this Breach utility. And it's not necessarily something that you always see with the collegiate Breach pick, right? So it's nice to see the utility really finding value.
Without a doubt. And in terms of finding value, if you're SHU, you want to in this round. Full rifles here, a chance to swing the game back towards even straights. A lot of util early, no fear though for the Saints. They TP forwards, they've got room, all in the front of rubble. A flash forward, or a smoke, excuse me, and they'll start to play their way towards door. First fights there, great free cam angle to catch Rice balling on the peak. Shoutouts again to the Observer Cool Scoots as we work our way the rest of the way up. Fate using that sliver of a gap in the dark cover to convert. And Baker College, everything in their favor early round.
Can't really call that. I mean, I wouldn't call this sliver. I would say that's a full-on gap right there. It was comfortable.
Yeah, it's
for
almost
Baker.
a doorway.
Yeah.
Good call.
But T-Man walking straight by this one, and he's stunned.
That's free.
Nice, but he does manage to pick up the first and the second.
Free.
Nice utility coming through. Good conversions. Revenge holding patiently. Gets past the Baker players. 2-on-3. The T-Man's on 1 HP.
Nobody caught early, and there is going to be a catch there. I do like this play. I think it's a bit early, but dramatic irony, I know that they don't. So it is what it is. They've cleared what they think is waterfall. Fate on the first will fall. Demon does get off spike in time to have a shot at that gunfight. Still going to lose it. You hear all the footsteps with your ladder.
Wow.
And gets taken out by Revenge. Is going to be crispy clean. All those shots. We'll take a 3K in a 3rd round for SHU.
So ironically enough, yes, it might have been a little bit early, and I think the swing was a little bit wide there, but Revenge... Oh, sorry, the swing from T-Man was a little bit wide there, but Revenge, ice in his veins on that one. Perfect 3K to close out that round. Surprising way for Baker to play. I would have thought that they had been very patient on their retakes prior. I thought they would wait until ladder moved back into position. But SHU clawing their way back into this one.
They are around. They definitely wanted to take to prevent any sort of early bleeding, and they've done just that. It's a push-up route. This time it is going to be won by Baker, but not really a gunfight to win it. Just the fact that SHU have volunteered it to them. Slow work instead up towards B. Riceballin has been good for 2 pretty much every time he's seen contact from the team here.
It's looking like Chamber.
I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. The caster curse is real. Super has all the room in the world to work with, though, and he's going to take up all of this Hobbit room. So, Showstopper, too. Dimensional drift to dodge the Showstopper is crazy.
That's correct. Yeah, that is insane. Noble going to pick up one. Bro went to Marvel Rivals playing Sue Storm. Disappear. Able to pick up that one. It is going to be a super lone on site, and you got to expect Demon to take that frag. He certainly has. Armageddon online, not going to find a lot of anything. As Noble going to pick up Demon. It's a 3-on-3. They're holding defuse. Drago, get in there, buddy. Does just that. Picks up 2. Riceballin, last member standing, and this one looking a lot less favorable than it did just 10 seconds prior. They'll find what they can out of the smoke. It's nothing to be had. It's Drago with a 3K. Stops the plant and does so much more. It's 4-4.
Talking about Marvel Rivals, that's some low-key backstab bonus damage coming in on that flank. 4-4, and another timeout's going to be used. Here we go. Baker, the first one of the game. That's, for those of you counting at home, that's 3 timeouts for Baker, 0 for SHU. But the really important count here is 4-4, and the economy not looking so hot for either side. This round will make the difference in the half.
Yeah, we'll hold for a minute worth of time here. Baker a decision to be made if they'll buy or not. Loss bonus pretty good, so I honestly think you buy around these 2 rifles, but we'll see once we get out of freeze time. SHU have done a good job of working root control for the last couple of rounds. It's forced some awkward retake scenarios for Baker in addition. They haven't had a lot of pressure door, so it's giving them room to play around. Really only having to worry about that heaven angle. So we'll see what the changes end up being here. I would be surprised if Baker plays heavily into root for the last couple of rounds. Possibly anchor one towards this A site, maybe work more towards this retake. Don't need to be as aggressive, as they have been, losing 2 players super early when it comes to fighting for Rune Rubble. And we'll see. They're kind of showing that they're going to give it right back, but they do have this Viper wall, so possible just a poke and prod setup. We'll see.
Well, patience, right? The name of the game for Baker coming out of this timeout. You have vastly inferior weapons. You need to see where SHU is going to get set up. SHU, though, anticipating a fast play out of Baker coming after the timeout, expecting something similar to what happened in map 1, but Baker on this light buy, more than happy to let the fight come to them.
Noble's drone does not spot, but does hear the gunfire onto it, so information going to be gained all the same. That's Rice Ball going to go back to this early angle, hoping to make a play on the outskirts of this toxic screen. T-Man staring right at it. Sniffed it out, no trouble. Down they go. Side open, plant down.
And Baker, most likely going to be locked out of the round. The Super is once again in this power position. Saw the foot of fate and was ready for the second. The Demon has a clean trade. There is something to be made of it, but the blind hits his own teammate, Nami. It's a little bit unfortunate there, but you're going to work your players up in the Hobbit. The wraparound from Drago's good. Is he ready for the second one? Demon reveals his position. Drago doesn't necessarily know whether he's left or not. Drago just going to step, but the rest of the team has been wiped off the map already. SHU ready to pick up their 5th as this breach charge blasts Demon. A 5th round for SHU. Nice recovery on the half by them.
Yeah, nice recovery on the half, and nice recovery on the series thus far as well. Came into this one not looking boomed at all, won the pistol, lost a couple rounds after, stopped the bleeding rather quickly, and now into their own streak. It'll be 3 of the last rounds won by them. Rifle round into this one, and now it's Baker College, the pressure on them as SHU look to get control of the rest of the half.
And at the risk of you cursed Baker once with the rice ball and clip there, but I can say this one so far. You wanted to in pre-game as Nami takes down Super once again for the opening kill. We mentioned that, or sorry, you in particular, Kat, you mentioned that you wanted to see all of SHU, the whole team stepping up to support Super. Super is 3-10 this game, and SHU has a 1-round lead. The whole rest of the team has come to play here after a very difficult map 1.
Yeah, it's really is that macro play. They're doing a great job of taking space efficiently. The util's been great. They're getting a lot of unfair gunfights in their favor, which is exactly what you want on the attacking side. No additional flash. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, there's got to be one more flash here, and there is. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The util usage from this team. The Breach sending Noble in for those first 2 frags. They do lose Drago in the process, but they've anchored 2 players A. So yet again, they're going to plant towards B. Noble felt fired up, might have overheated a bit there after those first 2 picks. That one comes through without the utility. It's a fair gunfight, and one that Ladder is going to win convincingly. So now it's put SHU into trouble. It's 1v3. Revenge might get a free first pick here. Ladder going to work away. Now it's much more difficult. There's a refrag there around the corner. Nami with info. Great jump spot. 30 seconds remaining. Does dodge the fault line. Oh, I'm scared they'll line up. They did start to do so. It's the second jump, though, from the Breach to get the players away, and the crosshair has to go the other direction. Nami will finish the job. 10 rounds away, and they've been split evenly. It's 5-5.
And the force up here from SHU trying to desperately to make sure that this half doesn't get away from them. If you end this half 6-all on the defender side, I think you're pretty happy for Baker, but also for SHU, coming off of how difficult map 1 on their map pick was, of course. 6 rounds in the half on Baker's map pick. You gotta feel good going in tied up.
So look yet again in towards mid. It's a very interesting Lotus approach. I've never seen a team actually like B. We've seen a lot of plays designed for this B site, and that one is an ISO for Super. Just takes a straight 1v2, walks through the screen, no fear in his heart, and wins it with confidence. There's 2 to waterfall here. We saw SHU overheat and bleed towards it. Not going to do the same this time. Drago's found Ladder, working deep around C. Oh, almost the 180 from Demon. Not quite. Drago will take it. And Nami now would have to do Drago things, but have to find value on the flank and not going to get the job done. Revenge will take him down. And SHU are into the lead.
That was a nice juggle with the utility there, right? You have the Omen Paranoia from behind. You have the Flashpoint from the Breach as well, or the, I'm not sure exactly. I think Flashpoint is the KO one. Yeah, anyway, you have the Breach wall flash. Either way, there's one flash being thrown. You have to turn it. There's another flash being thrown. You have to turn it. There's a step being made one way. You have to look that way. And then the juggle just comes through. I mean, it was very, very nice from SHU once they had the spike down. 7th round. Hopeful for them. Look at the economy for Baker there.
Yet again, it's going to be that B push. We see Baker finally put some extra firepower in this direction. It's been trades on both ends of things. Riceball looking for something there, but a ghost in hand makes it quite difficult. Is Nami going to pick up one? Has the second through door, wall bang, and not able to grab the second body shot. So Noble does manage to win that fight. Ladder, a classic and a Bucky, starting it with the former. And they're just going to back away, they're recognizing it's close range utility. All they've got to do is make space. The Phantom for Noble will finish the job. And the half will swap. SHU up 2.
I gotta, once again, I know you're not always supposed to be critical of them when they win high pressure rounds like that, but sticking around with one of your low HP players to try and fight the Baker player, I think you want to just run away, play your positional advantage, and see what you can do from there. I just think that you want to back off and not give the pistol player a way back in there. You don't know if that last player has picked up a rifle anywhere. If either of you guys mess up the fight, things get real messy real quick.
Right. A lot of pistol rounds picked up here for Baker. Let's see if they can get back into that same straight. Interested in this play here early. It's a Viper toxic screen deep into A. That's obviously not the destination that they're wanting, and really good job defensively to read this one and sniff it out. Screen goes up, they don't see any noise, they don't see or hear any noise, I should say, and they don't see any util, so they've been able to float players right back over to C and B. And they're ready for anything here. And Baker not gonna get any aggression back the other direction, so they actually now can use this screen. That's the one thing I do like about this util, is that it comes up and down at your own timing, so they've still got fuel here to work it back for a later execute, and that's what they're going to do now.
And this wall has been around since the dawn of time, right? But it's so obnoxious to play against if you're the CTs and you're trying to work your way down. You have to walk through it multiple times. Super across the map, taking down Fate. Patient. Ever so patient.
You can tell Super once more, but yeah, this time around, the patience is on display, won't overheat. Revenge has ladder, ice ballin', has struggled on the B site for the last couple of rounds. This time, offensively gets the job done, picks up one, gonna get away. Oh no! Or straight back in, got away from the aftershock, walked back in, and no one can dodge Revenge, who picks up the last 2. SHU get it off some shenanigans, and then some clean shooting from the Vice.
That is brutal for Baker there. I mean, Nami with... I'm gonna say, there was some straight up illegal movement going up onto Heaven, getting the jumping right click to get the initial kill onto Noble, but then falling back down into the bowl and being stunned and breach charged out of the round. That is a brutal, but very karmic way for that round to be restored. An 8th round for SHU, hoping to pick up their 9th here against the unarmored, just pistol opponents here from Baker.
Same wall, it'll be SHU, instead of backing away from the lack of aggression, have actually walked towards it. So the Omen, I think there's a chance we get a flood to spawn here. It hasn't looked to push for it just yet, though. Flashpoints in early. Nobody spotted. Noble, great angle for the Spectre. And that's the spike down early, but they do get to bend. They've got some room here. They got to pick at their disposal. Another aftershock pick. What is going on? T-Man going to pick up 2. Noble another. And that's a wrap on the round. I know T-Man's dad is loving that in the chat. It's 3K picked up for his son. That's 9-5.
It's impressive. 9-5. Working this map for sure. The full buy coming in from Baker here. They have to win this round. I mean, it's again the must-win round emphasis cannot come quickly enough. If you fall behind here and it goes to 11-5, you would need the monumental comeback similar to the one SHU was able to string together. But again, that's projecting pretty far into the future here. You gotta take it one round at a time, especially since SHU is on a bit lower of a buy here. My advice to Baker, Run away from that judge.
At the very least for Baker, there's less pressure here. Being able to steal map 1 does give them... Of course, they want to win here in a 2-0 fashion, but they do know there is a map 3 if things go right. SHU, different case, having a lot more pressure on their shoulders. As Yoru's just walk behind everybody. Going to come out the drift now. And we'll just TP back to the team. So got some info. Knows their C. They're going to opt to reroute the team towards this B side. This rice ball going to pick up Super. Just nails that one in the back of the head. And Plant will go down into this B side. They're going to look to hold here.
That dimensional drift for Baker got so much value. You saw 3 players on C. You assume that there's one pushed up A because of that close smoke. So being able to rotate very, very quickly through the door and run down Super was instrumental to Baker actually being able to get their plant down. And now they actually have a chance to defend it as Fate, with that recovered rifle, takes down Revenge.
Now we'll grab another in addition. That's a bit too far for the judge. Another picked up for the Omen player. And Baker just looking to put the icing on the cake in this round. They've done that, just that.
That was a very, very clean round from Baker. Nicely played from them. And sorry, it was not a recovered rifle. My mind was still on last round. That was the full buy from them. They have an opportunity to string together a couple of rounds here. If they can actually break SHU's economy, this game could be tied up in a hurry.
Someone buy my boy Fade a rifle. Look, I know he's
Please.
5 and 12, but he still
There
needs
we
one.
go. All right.
All right, Ladder will do it. Community service done for the day. As SHU will look to get back to the winning ways of the scoreboard. To walk forward here in towards Mound. It's that same screen. No real oppression coming forward. I like this enemy conditioning, though. And Ladder knows that they've been walking forward. Is good to take a member there, but it wasn't the Omen. It was Super, or arguably an even better pickup.
And we move back into something a bit more passive here. SHU is going to be taking their time here on the defense, just waiting for Baker to walk into their lines. But Baker has very aggressive positioning here towards A, and they have a fast rotate from the Yoru. Oh, sorry, they have a teleport back from the Yoru if they do need to rotate. But SHU may be reading the map a little bit incorrectly here. As the door gets opened, it's only one player. It's just T-Man here to defend the site if Baker does choose to accelerate.
Yeah, they're taking their sweet time here. Cutting noise for so long after that initial fault line does mean that there's still these players that are just floating the C site. Clone's going to come in. It forces wall up. That's util killed. Of course, not really a ton of value there since the map not going to get flipped. There's not enough time for it. Door open. That could have been a huge pick. Drago going to survive. Rice Ball and pick up one. They actually have to flip this one into B. They got spacing. T-Man can play absolute spoiler here. Not going to do so. Aftershock going to force players away. No kill, though, and Nami will pick it up. Plant goes down in addition. Baker, a 2-player advantage and great positioning.
I was worried with how that round was developing that Baker was overcooking it a little bit there. They didn't know, obviously, that there was nobody on the A site after all that pressure came in, but Fate cleaning up with a pair of headshots as easy as you like it. The rounds are going back and forth every which way. It's 7-9 right now, but it's anyone's game.
Certainly is, as Baker a chance to really vie for control here. It'll be Sheriffs and Spectres running the board for SHU. I expect a much more aggressive round here. I think it's worth noting too, we still are yet to really see the implications of this toxic screen from Ladder. We've seen it net a kill onto Super, who pushed deep for it. We haven't seen them actually work it too far on the offensive end just yet. It's going to be initial contact there from the Yoru of Demon. First shot is off the money, but info nonetheless. Should have seen at least 2 work down here. Going to trade drones, both going to get info, and they'll back this one off. So Rebel Control certainly picked up for SHU. They were hoping they could collapse on a rifle. Couldn't quite get that job done. And Baker just going to slow it down, hoping that this eco team will play aggressive.
It's a pretty rough trade for Super, I gotta admit. He loses basically all of his health in that exchange there. Just a wall bang or a couple of shots going his way there. He couldn't have known he was going to take the brunt of the damage, but it is unfortunate for him regardless.
Really good patience from Super. You mentioned they're so low HP. Can't really afford to take an extra chip here. Demon double outlaw shot is going to have value, and Super's patience pays off. A second picked up as well off that body spray damage. Leads to Noble grabbing the pick. And SHU, they've got weapons, and they just converted huge. Drago, here's all the footsteps. Hasn't been seen. It's go time,
Oh,
baby.
no.
He can't find anything. They managed to survive. A wall comes up. His own team's wall just played spoiler to what could have been 2 picks. Baker back into this round.
And that is maybe too much trigger discipline. You know how in basketball they talk about sometimes being too unselfish. Maybe you're being a little bit too patient. But Drago and Noble are going to do their absolute best to make sure his efforts aren't in vain. It's all up to Nami. The smoke's coming in from water is not enough. Noble cleans it up with a 3K. SHU back in control after wrestling that one away from Baker. A 10th round to their favor, and they're looking to take this to map 3.
That is an eco you love to see if you're SHU. They'll pick up 3 rifles out of it. They came in with just 2 Spectres and Sheriffs. 3 rifles came out. That's fantastic for them. It's going to put them in control of the eco. It's going to shut down a loss bonus for Baker. In addition, they win this one, they'll break the econ. They should pick up the next 2, and we're looking at them securing OT without a doubt.
Noble, get
He's
your
got to get
shields.
the job done here. Yeah, he's got time. He's got 5 seconds. He's got 5. He's gonna buy. He's got time. Yeah, he's got.
All
Okay.
right.
You know what? That's actually tactical. It's one of those things of like, I don't need him.
Sure, because he's not going to take any contact because Revenge is getting so much damage down early on to Nami. Sure, maybe you don't need the shields if your teammate will just run up and take all the fights for you.
Well, you don't understand. It's the same thing as like unbinding the crouch key. It's like if you don't buy shields, you play a lot safer because you know you don't have them. You know, it's like one of those mental. Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. Rice Balling gonna sit here in a perfect position. Link. They half clear it. That's tough, but Super is there for the trade, so it's still 4-4. There's a lot of damage on the opposing Omen here for Baker College. Plant's gonna go down. This is a quick retake coming on its way.
Fast shock, great cover though.
Oh, Fate is wide in the open, but Drago's looking the other direction, so he's gonna get one. Tough ult! Picks up one in a second. All right. Huge spray transfer from Fate. That ult was questionable, but the frags certainly were not. It's 8-10.
I cannot believe that didn't go the other direction there. I thought both T-Man and Revenge both had clear shots on Fate, but some movement up and down on the rope, plus the breach shock. Oh, sorry, plus the breach ult coming through there. That is chaos personified, I would say.
Well, you like it if you're Baker. That is for sure. Saves them from what could have been severe econ damage, and SHU looking to send it to map 3. Now they've got some control back in their favor. A chance to get this one to a tied scoreline. It's going to be Super yet again. Out B. We'll find one. There's trades in the other direction, though. They're looking for more. Everybody caught by this fault line. They do manage to make it all the way out, though. They're putting everything into this one. Armageddon's down. We'll pick up a frag. Fate, Ladder, all getting involved. It's T-Man left standing. Just a ghost at their disposal. We'll pick up a Vandal now. Has spike control. But it's a 1v3 on the way, and just one flashpoint for the Breach to get the job done. Hasn't swung just yet, will now. Picks up one for free, but a trade is there. Fate will get the job done. It's a 3K. That's Baker. Now bring it within 1.
And SHU's money has to be... Oh, okay, you've got enough for one more in the tank. This is basically it if SHU loses this one. Baker's going to pick up this one and the round after, you have to believe. So this is going to either be 10-11 in the favor of Baker. Sorry, 11-10 in the favor of Baker, or it's going to be 11-9 to SHU, just depending on how this round goes. As far as single rounds go, this is basically the game.
Drift online early. See this a lot from Baker, just looking to get early information with Demon. Puts himself in the back line most of the time, similar to how these Shrouded Steps get used, just for info, possibly in the back line. This one will go back with his teammates, seeing what there is on B, seeing how long it's going to take for a rotate to come. They know they've got spacing here. So Plant's going to go down. They know they've got a moment for this retake comes through. This Lurk isn't going to catch Super if he does push all the way, so that'll be interesting to note for the later stages of this round as the Plant timer started.
And this wraparound from SHU, look how far away Super is. It's going to take him so long to clear all of this. And the wraparound is coming through from Baker as well. So they know that stairs are clear. It's going to be a late push through. It's 3 from tree. Super is so late to the party. He still manages to get 1. But his teammates are actually doing a great job of it. It's a 3-for-2 exchange in the extended trade. Drago's sticking the plant. Ladder's got a poison on it, but it's not quite enough. Nami 1v1 and the wallbang comes through.
T-Man, no! Nami gonna grab the first wallbang on defuse. T-Man says, you won't do it twice. Yeah, he certainly will. Just gonna wallbang the second one as well. Nami gifted 2 frags and PC. Next thing you know, they've got full control.
Brutal. 10 apiece. Look at the buy once again from SHU. This is exactly what we were talking about. Unless SHU can make something miraculous happen, this is an 11th for Baker. 2 rounds away from Texas for them.
2 rounds away from Texas. Stole map 1 with just 2 rounds of clean gameplay. A chance to take this one as well. The Saints felt like they were back in the driver's seat. But BC have certainly commandeered a super, a crisp Guardian headshot at a time that the team definitely needed it. Has the first frag, has shut off root control. And now Baker, they've got to find their own answers.
SHU has done a nice job of finding that opening pick. The question is, they've had man advantages in previous rounds that they've still let slip away from them. Baker's done a great job of wrestling them back, so what exactly can they do to make sure that this round is different?
They're going to look to contain a bit more. They're going to grab info with that Omen as well, making sure this team isn't flipping the map again. That info not quite what they want it to be. They don't know about the 2 players link, and they will now off of the contact as Riceballin takes 1. Drone does a good job of clearing that close angle as well. That's going to get info for this team. Rockets online. Drago forced backwards, caught by that aftershock, but still gets value. Takes down Riceballin. Noble with 1. The Sheriffs doing their due diligence, finding picks here as it's going to be Baker now. No choice but to try to move away to C. There's Thorns in their wake. They're caught. Revenge has 1. Walls up, so you can't even refrag this one. It's going to be very difficult to even get to a site for plant. You need 4 seconds. There's nothing to be done. Fate's going to save a rifle. And SHU get out of dodge on a round where they have no rifles.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. But great job from SHU. I mean, if this is how they're going to aim on the half-buys, they should stick to the Sheriffs the whole game. Fantastic work for them to pick up the 11th. That was something monumental that we were talking about them needing. And now look at the money for Baker. They're going to use their 4th and final timeout.
Eyes from Baker. Just slow things down. Don't let the game get away from you. It's so close up into this point. They were clutch before. Can they be clutch again this round? A crucial decision to be made, and I think that's really the reason for this timeout. Do we buy into this one and look to win at 13? Or do we give this one away, get a more confident buy next round, and know we have to win it in OT?
So what are you calling out of this one, Kat? What do you think you go for here? Obviously, your money is in shambles right now if you're Baker. You're just begging you are hoping and pleading it for everything possible to not have this go 10-12. What are you calling here out of this timeout?
I think we can get the best of both worlds. I think we keep this Vandal on Fate. They're going to have a rebuy in the next round. We get the rest of the team Spectres. We work this one down A. We haven't really seen them play an aggressive A push yet. We've seen them scale late A after the initial toxic screen just to get players committed from the defense, but we haven't seen them really push the issue. I think this is the round where you really switch the tempo. You push yourself up towards A early. We know they've been good at winning the early fight onto Super. It's time to snowball off of that aggression, and they do go for full rifles, but they are looking in this A direction. Will it be a faster paced exit?
No matter what the exec is, it's going to have to wait out that smoke and the Tejo rockets, but there's a lot of information that's being gathered very passively from SHU. You saw that there was a quick check on C by Revenge, so he knows that there's not really going to be anyone on Mound. He's still going to be playing passively for himself. With that being said, the 4-man stack from Baker looking to pop out here as soon as they have fuel again on the Viper, and the smoke there gives them an opportunity to walk up if they'd like, so they're just going to fake the door, see if they can insert the Yoru, and see what happens from there.
And with this conditioning, the way they've been prone to flip the map, to work it through to be They haven't got the extra commitment from the defense just yet. Now, finally, that Teo going to push their way the rest of the way heaven. They've got two very close range players. Good util should be able to thwart this one, but maybe not. Demon the first, Noble the second. And this is difficult now for Baker to try to wrestle back. A decision has to get made of do they continue to try to push this one or flip it, and they'll flip to B. Ladder's already there. They've got space. It's much harder to hold this in post plan, especially down numbers.
Surprised by the fake there, but I guess they're looking to try and finish A. T-Man and Nami, yeah, exchanging a couple of kills, but they don't know Drago has stayed here. You have to clear all of your angles. Nami will. Spike 1v3. Smoke for themselves. Nami planting on site desperately. The wallbang coming through from Super. The bullets are there, but the damage is not quite enough. Nami 16 bullets and a 1-on-3. Silent drop already from SHU. The first spotted and Super hits it immediately. A 12th round for SHU. This is map point for them to try and take us the distance.
Super clutch yet again. Comes through to thwart the efforts before it can become anything serious. It's match point. And Baker, not the same buy they would have had if they had played for this scenario in the first place. So they're going to work off of some limited weaponry here. They've still got ults at their disposal. If they can get to site, they've got that Viper's Pit to work off of. They do not want to work A this time. You can already tell it's going to be that early screen yet again for conditioning, but this one headed a different direction.
The economy, again, as we've been pointing out for the last 5 or 6 rounds, it's in shambles for Baker. You gotta dig deep here on this half buy and see if you gotta make sure you don't get showstoppered out of this round here from this aggression from Super. This is different if he pushes through the smoke. We haven't seen anything this aggressive from him so far. The other flanks that he's done have been pretty slow going so far, so this one appears to be more of the same. The wall's gonna be triggered by that Yoru clone, and we're just going to play this nice and slow while we wait out util from both sides.
Okay. I mean, sometimes you just gotta make sure that your gun still shoots. The clone does get broken there. A lot of vision now here, so nothing really gonna get cooked up from Baker just yet. They've got damage onto Revenge. Gonna need more than that though, and this retake is scary as long as this breach is online. So SHU, you really don't want to give them this site here, and you see how tightly contested this one's gonna be. It's gonna open the door. That might be enough to push players over, but great discipline from the Saints to hold on to C just in case. That Omen's their Hobbit, so they have the info that that's not going to be the direction, at least just yet. And Super still, he's been here the whole round at Rubble and usually is able to cash in on one. Has done so yet again. Showstopper's online. Give me one more. A 2-for-1 trade. As Ladder, the only player able to find purchase thus far for the offense. It's Nami left standing. He got a lot of work to do if we want to keep this map alive. They can't even find the first. Drago's out for the full swing, has taken it home. It's 13-10, map number 2. We're headed to map 3.
No heist on this map at all. The map picks traded going each way. SHU's map pick going to Baker, and now Baker's pick getting traded right back to SHU. It's going to bring us to our first map 3 of the day. It's going to take us all the way to Haven. Man, there's a lot going on in this series.
A lot going on, a lot of rounds in map number 2, and they're traded both directions pretty cleanly throughout that timeline. And this is an incredible effort from Sienna Heights. The fact that you mentioned map 1 gets stolen away. They lose what is 10-1 on an 11 round split in the middle of the map, and they manage to bounce straight back early in that map. Towards the end of that second half, they come back to almost win it. They lose the last 2. It's unfortunate. It's heart-wrenching. And next thing you know, they are right back into the driver's seat of the series after winning map 2, a map that, as you mentioned, is not their map pick. The mental toughness of this roster is absolutely absurd, as they still have hopes alive to make it to Texas.
Absolutely, and with that being said, I mean, it's 1-1. Whoever wins this map goes on to Texas. They book their flights. History would suggest that having overcome the difficulties and stealing away map 2, SHU have the momentum. But can Baker dig deep and find their way to a winning game number 3? Only time will tell. We will see you after a short break. Don't go anywhere.
59 rosters entered the last chance qualifier. Only 2 of them remain, and only 1 map may be the difference. Haven is all it takes to punch your ticket now to Texas. I'm Catnator, that's Takeshi, and we've got a banger map 3 coming your way.
Yeah, and the stakes could not be higher, right? And you're talking about 1 map could be the difference. How about 1 round could be the difference? So far on this series, SHG's map pick of Split, it went the other way, 13-11 in favor of Baker. Baker's map pick, Lotus, it went 13-10 the other way in favor of SHU. We are 1 round the difference overall on this series. It really is anyone's series. Do you have a prediction, Kat? I know I'm asking you the most dreaded thing ever.
The Siena Heights fans in chat are staring me down right now.
I know.
You know, I gotta say, mental toughness is a value I really respect. SHU came back from what would tilt me to next week, managed to win map 2. I'm going Baker College, baby. They're making their way to Texas for the first time. You know, they're rated the 2nd seed for a reason. It's what it is. I'm sorry.
It is worth noting Baker is the higher rated team. With that being said, obviously to balance out some of the caster cursing here, I think having overcome that very difficult map 1 that we both labeled as a heist, right? That first map win by Baker was big. The second one by SHU, they stole it right back. Give me SHU in 3. I think this is going to be a really close one. I would not be surprised if this map goes to OT.
Yeah, you know, I'll help your side of the coin here as a balanced debate. You got to think the number 1 seed, a squad that we've never not seen at the Commissioner's Cup, Northwood, faced off in the early days of this bracket against Siena Heights, finished the series on Haven and lost. It was 13-10 for Siena Heights. They beat the big dogs, and now they have a chance to qualify for their first ever Commissioner's Cup, where after beating a squad like Northwood should make a run. So, you know, there may be some merit to the Siena Heights Cinderella story, but Baker College winning out early, proving they've got some toughness of their own, able to bounce back even after giving 6 rounds away out of 8 on Split. You never know.
I just hope that whatever happens, it's tied at the half, and we play ball from there.
Yeah, absolutely. All you want is for it to be close, and this series has been nothing but that. I definitely expect it to be so. Whichever team wins this one certainly did earn their spot, and you got to say, Siena Heights, it's really shame on the Cedars. Maybe they should have been the 2nd seed all along. It's been an incredibly close matchup. Maybe the 1 seed should have been Baker. I'm just saying, it's been an incredibly close series. It's been some heroic moments. When it is not that macro play, it's up to players like Super just stepping up. It's up to players like Demon just making it happen. You could tell both these teams want it so bad. Remember, neither of them has seen the Commissioner's Cup in its 3 years of existence. Who is going to punch a ticket to Texas? Who will be in Esports Stadium, Arlington? We'll see. The pick and ban's already done, and that's because Haven is a map that is tried and true. You know it. If you've ever played this game before, if you played it at any competitive level, you know Haven inside and out. What better dueling ground to prove which roster is truly better?
I think the question for which map are people most familiar with at this point, it has to be between Haven and, like, I mean, you could put Haven against half of the rest of the game, and I think Haven would still win. With that being said, I mean, Haven, Ascent, you know, the maps that you see all the time with Ascent being shoved down our throats, that one act. With that being said, Haven, the 3-site map, right? It's the original one in Val. Be interesting to see how deep in the strat book do these teams go, and how much of it is going to be, hey, we have better guns, let's run up on C.
Yeah, I think both teams have proven to us that they can do both, that they can big brain it, but when it comes to it, they can just run it down and get the job done if that's truly what it's going to take. When it comes to compositions, we've got an ISO back online. A lot of teams have been bringing that ISO out into Haven. It's got a chance to really poke early, especially on the defensive side. It can work through mid quick, it can work through either long very quick. So there should be a lot of info gathered by the likes of a double tap activation. Yoru in addition. This is an interesting Baker College comp versus a much more traditional SHU look.
Right here.
As if the old heads or the new gens winning the day. So far, the first pick goes the way of the former.
And SHU, the player to watch here, obviously, I've been saying it, I'll continue to say it, Super has a Sheriff on pistol round. The amount of damage that this weapon puts out on round 1 is absolutely absurd. Vulnerable or not on Draco, he's going to move his way forward. He's going to swing into Nami's crosshair, but Super's got him right back on the wall bang. And the damage has still been done to Nami. He's looking for a second as Demon also takes down T-Man. Demon with a third, but Taiga shuts down Nami. It's all up to Super here. First tap, not good. Has to reload the Sheriff. Stuck in the angle, has to reload both ways, but Fate ends up closing it out, and the pistol, messy for both sides, but Baker ends up taking it.
Ooh. Super almost takes it off the reload, but it's just not enough. The retake comes through for the Swarm. They swarm their way to sight into a pistol round victory. They've got the momentum at their disposal. Out first. Can they continue to win? Outlaws on both ends of the coin here. It's going to be SHU looking to take their Outlaw towards Garage, towards the mid area, looking to see if Baker will give them anything. They were thwarted by an early fault line last round, so couldn't push that Yoru and that ISO forward. And this time it's going to be a much different defensive setup for this team, looking to contain what is any early aggression from an eco team.
I would like to see SHU try and position Super so that he can get ult orbs for the jet knives. I think that is a way that you can turn this round around. If you have 4 bodies in front of you, Riceball's going to take one of them out as he takes down Revenge, but Super's just going to be posted on this angle. There's no reason for Fate to walk back into it, so I'm not exactly sure what the plan is here from SHU.
Yeah, it depends on if they've got Cloudburst at their disposal. At least have Dark Cover that can recharge and no burst here, so Super will have a much harder time getting in the door. And they'll end up throwing that cover instead over towards Garage window, so it is going to be a very slow walk up into B. Super turns at just the wrong time, and Fate's going to pick up one. It's a free body tap for Super onto Nami, caught with util in their hands. And Recon's got info. You know, these players are all swarming their front of sight. They're going to look to push behind. There's some space for the Omen here. Trying to play into these dark cover gaps. Is Fate going to pick up another? Doing a great job from the link angles. Riceball and Ladder both going to pick up the final 2. It's a very clean anti-eco from BC. They drop 1. They keep all these Spectres up for a very healthy bonus.
And if you're SHU, you gotta make sure that you do not go sewer without help. You have to make sure that you clear it out effectively and diligently. If these Spectres are allowed to close distance on you, this round and this game can start slipping away from you.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, they're up on the Outlaws and the Guardian here, actually.
Super buy?
It's just gonna get knives.
I'm gonna play Blades. Yeah, gonna play Blades here. Does leave Nami a gap to try to make something happen if it comes to it, but you gotta expect. Well, actually, the one's too far, so they're not really gonna play Vision now. They're just gonna kind of body block this thing. But Demon's got nothing, and they're out the angles, so there's a chance for knives there. It'll get picked up, but there's a lot of damage. So Super gonna have to play with the ult. You're gonna have to be pretty perfect in terms of these kunais fighting heads.
Not a huge fan, I gotta say, of no smoke there for your star duelist to be able to pick up that ult orb. Sacrificing almost all of Super's health there, it's pretty difficult to justify.
Yeah, now there's the bait player.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, let me stop hating. Gonna pick up one anyway. Riceball, another Demon to trade. Contained towards Garage. It's SHU side. They're gonna work the flood now. Flashpoint kind of negated because they haven't actually pushed off the space just yet. Fault line not gonna hit anything. And they bolt now after all the util's been expended. So really tough broken round here thus far from the attacking side. Now going to play into Fate, who's ready and waiting with the paranoia off this initial shoulder peek for contact.
Be as patient as you want here if you're Baker. You know that SHU has to walk into, and they have the gun advantage. They have actually found the correct pathing here, but a bit of an overpeak by Drago is rescued by the fact that Fate doesn't actually have a weapon. Yoru cleanses up close and personal. It's going to flash, but it's not quite enough. Ladder. Nice trade onto Drago. All up to T-Man. Can he clutch? The answer is no. Ladder shuts him out of it. Couple of rounds, a couple of rifles going to be recovered by Baker, and a third round in their favor.
Yeah, Baker yet again going to win the first 3. Chance for a 4th. Will be on the way. They've got good rifles into this one. Weird econ situation here for the Saints. I don't honestly think I buy into this one if I am them.
I need a drop.
You got Super with Blades last round. Didn't utilize them. A chance to use them now. And yeah, the rest of the team will buy Sheriff. So it'll be a hard eco here. I wouldn't be shocked if this one goes straight down the A site. But as a team that hasn't been one that's really played very aggressively, this honestly could still work out despite the weapon rate.
Patient as you like for Super, has the angle, but not quite enough on the headshot there.
Still gonna have 2 knives to work off of. A chance for the refresh remains.
One is all they
Player
need.
stacked.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's hard to choose. Shot right between the middle of both heads. Just an awkward over-under angle that gets picked up there. Noble gonna pick up one at the very least. But there's not a ton here for the Saints, who are gonna back off this angle now towards B. They got beat over towards A. There is space on C, and that is where this round looks to finish.
And SHU, they don't know it, but they should actually try and slow down, I think, a little bit more. You already know that nobody's going to be here. You have most of Garage controlled. You have a flash going through on an angle that you had already darted, so I'm not exactly sure what they're going for, but regardless, SHU is going to get the spike down, and they do have a chance to defend this. T-Man's in a power position in Garage, and he has the fault line for the Garage entrance. Fate's going to be past it already, though. Is he ready for the second? Yes, he is. Nice by T-Man. So he equalizes it back into a 2-on-2. Patience is a virtue here. Drago's going to be swinging out first. He's ready for it. And is he ready for the second one? Not quite. He can't finish his meal. It's going to be all up to T-Man. Spotted by Rice Ball, and the shock dart finds its mark. A 3rd kill for him, and a 4th round for Baker.
Rice Ball and fadeaway jumper to close the round. 4-0 is benching for Baker.
Don't worry.
A lot of rifles going to go out of that round with the deaths, but they've got plenty of eco to pick it back up. And they got the op as well, which is the big ticket item. So really good stuff from Rice Ball, and we'll win it, and we'll get the operator back for the team. The 6-1 Sova continues to impress here in the early stages of this one. And this is typically where SHU start to get the gears turning. They're late starters, so don't let the early round score fool you. And look to get into the winning ways here.
Also worth noting, these rounds have been reasonably close. Baker, despite being on the 4-round streak here, their economy is not that great. SHU's gotten the spike down every round. It's been a retake for Baker. They've been patient. Nice Hunter's Fury off this Dimensional Drift info. It's going to force out the jet jump. Some damage is going to get down there, but Demon has to make his way out. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't see the TP set. That's a very nice play. I was going to say, like, this is going to be trouble, but it certainly isn't. Got some tags. And we'll see what they can cook up here. Tripwire really does a number on Noble there, so they're easily able to take him out, get value at the Vision Denial, and then finish the job once it fades. So already SHU going to be down a player here. They put a lot of util into this A exec and kind of have to just walk away from it. Hunter's Fury going to do a number here on his own teammate, so that's tough. Does manage to find the opposing Sova at the very least, but Revenge now down to 23 HP.
I was going to say Worth until Demon found the trade kill there onto Super. I mean, if you're taking your teammate down to 1 HP, the least you can do is help the rest of your team out and actually get the kill here. But Demon is in a power position yet again with this off. All he has to do is hold this line. There's no way for SHU to really get him off of it. He's going to miss the first shot, though. He's going a little bit early. Ready for the second one. Does he know how close the players are? Yes, he does.
Whoa,
he was blinded, and it doesn't matter.
Hello? The bullet curved. Love to see it. Teammate going to take down Ladder. And it will be a walk over to the A side. It would have to be the heroics of the Breach to win out their first round. Plenty of time for the plant. Where does he want to play it? Does he play it towards spawn? Does not. Nami going to walk in. T-Man has the upper hand in positioning, but just forfeited it. And now suddenly by timing, by the grace of Valorant, it's Nami walking in, has sight, wall heard, so you do know if your T-Man where this one is, where this player is. Reload for the Yoru. T-Man just going to look to hold. It should be Nami to half, and then we'll see where the round goes from there. Just a quick tap. Good fault line. Nami's off it. T-Man a swing. You hear all those jumps. 20 HP. Bring around the Rosie time. Just play for the extra seconds. The T-Man has done a good job of this. Went down sewer, cleared it effectively, and we'll get the frag in addition. It's a 3K for the Breach. Around clutched up in 1v2 fashion. The Saints are on the board.
That was very impressive from T-Man. Nice patience. I mean, I thought he might have gone a little bit too early throwing that fault line, but Nami gets off of the spike on that initial utility usage, and then into that situation in the one-on-one, T-Man does enough to stall it out.
enough to stall it out as this team will keep an operator at their disposal. Still for Baker, they'll go this time towards Garage, away from C, where that Outlaw has been playing for the Yori player. Someone TP away, saw nothing on that jump spot towards A long. So we'll see whether that moves this team for the later stages of the round. Drone, no presence just yet from that either. It does mean that this op is going to move. It's an awkward positioning here, but you should have TP to get out. So first pick isn't found, does TP away, and Nami can't get a trade. Rice Ball and Will for them, though, on that player back plat. So there's space. SHU plant going to go down. Can they hold against the retake?
These shock darts from both Sovas have been excellent. There have been multiple occurrences where each Sova has dropped a 75er straight onto the opposing players. Great Cypher ult for all the information you could ever ask for, and Drago's going to be holding with Noble back sight. Looks for the player jumping up on logs, but great distraction so far that allows Riceballin to actually get the kill. Demon with another one, Riceballin with a third, and the fourth, the jumping classic right-click headshot. Of course, the combination of things. You tick them all off on the bingo card. You expect every single one of those bullets to hit. Somehow, some way, Baker finds a fifth.
Yeah, it's it again. Rice Ballin coming up big. It's been a great map for this Sova so far, and they continue that trend. It's a fadeaway shock bolt. This time it'll be the classic putting in work. SHU could buy into this one. Econ matches pretty well, minus this operator for Demon that ends up being the constant monster under the bed. And they'll opt to buy 2 rifles. They're going to have a rebuy in next round. Loss bonus should be good enough, so they'll see what they can garner here. We've seen some eco rounds converted for this team before, 2 last map, in fact. Looking to see if they can do so again. A Super walk forward to Garage. Fate has a lot of space down grass. Super's found the first. Oh, this spray is out of control, but picked up cleanly, and the transfer is quite nice from the Omen.
How does Fate recover in time to get that second kill after the first one was so messy? That's awkward spacing there from SHU, but it's nice shooting there from the Omen from Baker. See if Noble can work his way down with the rest of SHU's hopes behind him. He does have a Phantom. Drago hoping to recover a weapon somehow, but honestly, just getting a spike plant here would be better than nothing in terms of economy. You just have to see what you can find.
Right here. Revealing area.
Well, the jig is up.
Yeah, they've got all the room in the world here. It's going to be Hunter's Fury to come down, looking to kill Planter. Ooh, good movement. Drago going to stay alive here. Timing really works out in his favor as Noble finds the first on a Demon back with Spawn. Now looking to get away. Drago going to hear all this crossing, lets his Omen know, so he'll jump down back to sight. And Drago again, fantastic timing on the shock bolt dodge, but is going to get caught by the second. Rice Ball and Tracer seen. Not going to find him just yet. It's going to be a step over from the Omen. We'll go towards this A main side. And they'll look to start the pin. Drago somehow is still a rat in the walls. Finally will fall. Noble to pick up the first. Needs a 3K to win it. And caught with a TP in their hand as Rice Ballin will finish the job. It's this Sova coming up big yet again.
Riceballin has been everything for Baker so far, and even runs all the way back through spawn to recover the op. Things got a little bit messy there, and with the Omen positioning, obviously, from Noble, and the pick that he found in CT, there was a possibility SHU could have made things really ugly, but it is 6 rounds so far, the half secured so far by Baker.
Yeah, this one makes you nervous. Especially if they're able to convert this round too. It'll start to be a slippy slope here, and SHU won't have weaponry in the next, so they need to win this one. Fault line early. Look to take space. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's an early spray from Fate as a shock bolt in, so they'll split the pair of those first 2 kills. Rice Ballin is the man of the hour as it currently sits.
The ISO vulnerable through the wall there coming from B-Link, it's acting like it's following the same line as like a breach flash, or sorry, a breach stun would, and the shock dart afterwards is just 150ing them out of the round as Fate is looking to do the same with his rifle. It's all up to Drago in a 1-on-4. 3 of the Baker players are here already. The jump spot catches Drago. He's going to use the smoke to work his way up, but there should not be any room in this round for any heroics here from Drago.
No, certainly not. The unconventional comp does unconventional things. That's that round kind of over from the jump. Drago gonna walk it away. Could get a plant somewhere if they'd like to. I wouldn't even blame them if they just sat in window and spawn here and try to get the rifle out. It's not the biggest deal in the world. The rest of the team have to rebuy anyway, so if the rifle gets in or out, it's kind of what it is. Looking like they might try to actually make a play for this round. Recon to get him across. Plant will go down. And a 1v4 on the way. Everybody's going to be B-link to get some lineups with a chance. And there was a pretty strong lineup there, but Fate will grab the kill before Drago can even pull the trigger. It's a 4K for the Omen. A 7th round for Baker College.
Feels like every round there's someone on Baker who's multi-killing, and that's what's proving the difference here. If SHU is actually able to get a couple of these trades, things could start getting uncomfortable. But so far, I mean, you take a look at the kill distribution here, and the first timeout of the series is going to come through from SHU.
Yeah, insider knowledge, they've only taken about 3 this entire season. But a 4th may be warranted here with a slot at Texas on the line. It's super to call it for this team. Not great econ in this round either. It's a Spectre early for T-Man. We'll see what the case ends up being, though, out of freeze time. The fact they can sell it back if they need to. We know, TK, the answer is not going to be A-Site. So what can this team cook up instead? They've gotten good space in Garage. We've seen T-Man pick up some double kills in that direction. They've been able to play Garage to C pretty cleanly. But I think they're just worried about this Demon Op at this point.
I think the question is, where can you insert one of your more lurk-heavy players? Where can you insert Noble or Revenge if you're on this attacker side, and see if you can actually get them to generate some space for you while the rest of your team works the rest of the map? I mean, it's pretty standard Haven stuff. But if you can get across that A-long angle, if you can get into sewers and just have Revenge post up there for the whole rest of the round, you open up the opportunity to move other places, or at the very least have them play info.
Yeah, we haven't seen them really push any extremities outside of a full team contact opportunity. So definitely could be some value of getting players across. It's going to be Super who will cross on his lonesome. Uses a dark cover to get that one done. A lot of effort over towards C. You can tell Baker expecting that. They've lost A the last couple of rounds. Surely they're going to come to C. They stacked it pretty heavily. No contact though, so they float the Omen now towards spawn. They haven't really had trouble on the early pushes, so they can set this Omen for quite a bit of time. Doesn't really need them on an angle at this current time.
And
Gyro gonna step out. Nothing Garage.
Who at Riot decided that the ISO vulnerable that you throw in the straight line should also suppress?
It's very balanced. You know, it's a very cool kit. Can tank a headshot for free. I think that's a good addition to the game. Ladder gonna look for one at Heaven. Early dark cover. This is a great execute from SHU. Now they just got to build off of it. Remember, they do have this downgraded weaponry in this one. See if this drift comes out. A chance to get info on where this post plant is holding from. And that's exactly what the call is gonna be. Huddersfield back to their direction. It's Rice ballin'. Who other to open the door early? Gonna pick up one. Out the drift, straight into contact, and Demon, a shorty frag off of it. Came out of the ult and was ready to party as Drago will pick up one, instantly traded. It's Super in a 1v4. The Guardian out. You gotta find some heads. And it's Nami finding the body instead. We're gonna pick up a second shorty kill in this round for Baker, who are now up 8-1.
It's been a dominant half from them. SHU look like they're out of answers here, and coming out of the timeout, I mean, it was a nice execute, but the post plant was a little bit flat. There was no extra space gained, and I mean, everyone's playing off-site. You're not actually forcing Baker to really clear too much.
And the one positive note for this SHU team so far is the fact that we have seen them in this series lose 10-1 and start to claw it back. But that came with what was 4 rounds picked up at the beginning of the map. So if they can win here, there's a chance to get us to 8-4. And then possibly they cook on the other side of the map defensively. But they have to win here.
I think if you're SHU, you have to hope that Baker loses a little bit of their form with how aggressive they've been and how sharp their aim has looked. SHU, it's been very difficult for them to buy anything into the round. That's a great trade back from T-Man, but look how much damage he's taken.
A lot of damage, yeah. Exactly what I was going to call as well. A lot of damage in that trade. Demon trained on this B main angle. This dark cover is going to fade. It'll actually give the space away. So mention the fact they might lose form. Still patient on it. Ironically, he falls as I say that. As Revenge going to use the spacing off the Rolling Thunder. Fate going to pick up one. Traded rather quickly though. SHU a good job on the trade game. Noble will catch Nami in the back line. And Ladder a 1v3. One low HP bar. So could quickly turn it to a 1v2. You know Noble has to be somewhere on this ramp angle. But where are the other two players? Oh, he stepped. Gave the sound cue away, and Drago easily able to swing that one on the back of sight. SHU will win at a time they most certainly needed to.
Excellent from them. And immediately there's the timeout from Baker in response like, hey, we cannot let these guys have any momentum at all here. We need to close out this half ASAP. It does not matter how you have to do it. We have to end this one 10-2.
Yeah. Just settle back into it. That round really not a lot strategically. I think Baker does wrong. SHU just pull out some picks. We're able to convert over towards the B side in what is really just some one-on-one matchups that managed to go their way. So honestly, this is a dual-sided timeout, a chance to, as you mentioned, slow down the momentum, a chance to resettle in as a team, but also you could kind of start talking about the attacking side too, what your comp's going to bring to the table, how it's going to work into this comp, though I'm sure most of Collegiate kind of plays the SHU comp, so it should be fairly disciplined, but a chance to kind of make a refresher on this one as we are so close to the end of the half. So value on both ends of this timeout here, and we'll see if it's enough to kind of quell the Saints. We did see Baker take an early timeout after SHU won 2 rounds on split, and then they continued to win for another 4.
I gotta say, with this composition that Baker has, I actually am really surprised that SHU has gotten the spike down all 10 rounds. You see, you take a look at that little chart in the middle, 8 defuse wins coming through for Baker, 2 wins and then for SHU, but those are both after the spike has been planted, so it's actually allowed their economy a bit to work with, but just the heroics from Riceball and Fate have been too much. 30 kills combined between them, and Demon's gonna tag on one more, even beyond those already mentioned.
I mean, I don't want to agree with you, but I really do feel like this is a hefty retake comp with the likes of this ISO and this Yoru. I think that's the reason why we see this op in their hands so often, so they get that extra defensive util. Riceball will pick up 1 off of this Hunter's Fury. Just another thorn in the sides for SHU. Lost the initial trade, now lose an extra player. They do manage to get the plant down towards C. And yet again, this hefty retake comp is back in action. And they've been successful every retake thus far, looking to do so again.
They're just going to be held at this choke, and they're going to swing out, and they're going to be trades. And that's just what it is. A 9th round for Baker. After the timeout, man. There you go.
Yeah, they slow down the SHU side of things. They give a lot of space. They respect where the squad is going. And they come back with all the resources and a bunch of defensive utilities. So they're not using anything to try to stop this team from getting in. Riceball will increase now to 17-4 off the Hunter's Fury pick. It is great looks for BC and dire straits now for the Siena Heights side of the coin. They'll buy rifles into this last round. You want this one before the half. You certainly want this one.
Revenge, get a Spectre and maybe not a Stinger. I don't know. Get yourself something to work with. All good.
Early cages up here. No info you're gaining here if you are the Saints. Thinking about a scale towards C. They don't want it. Again, you don't know where this op is. You're definitely not going to know after the early vision denial comes your way. Extra vision denial now towards window, so you still won't know if the op is over towards B. It's a guessing game for this team, kind of playing whack-a-mole against this Yoru.
Bringing all those numbers for SHU as they do actually find the opening kill, and that takes out the smokes. Isol going to find one Nami versus Super, and it's not going to be enough. Super is going to take him down. Running through the shock dart and into the second one. T-Man is going to get obliterated by that utility, but Super is quick with the trades. It's a 3-on-2. Super's going to jump up top. He's not quite going to get it. Revenge has his back though, and Offshot's going to miss from Demon, and he's getting run down inside the cage. Revenge sprays him out of the round. A 3rd round for SHU. I mean, it's difficult to say that that's all you could have hoped for, but hey man, 1 round at a time.
Yeah, I mean, a 9-on-2 situation before the half swap. it's all you can hope for to pick up one, and they have been able to do so. So we'll jump into the second half. Now, you saw how successful this Baker team was on retaking. And what is the attacking side, if no more than a retake?
Than breaching. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Except you don't have to play against the whole team being packed on that one thing. You're probably just going to guess your way into, hey, look, there's like 2 or 3 of them, and there's 5 of us. Yeah, let's run them down. Probably. Pretty simple stuff. I expect to see Baker being a little bit more explorer heavy, we'll say. I think they're going to try and manipulate SHU a fair bit more than SHU did to them on their attacking side. And look, you already have the garage probe here with Nami holding 4 Demon. Try and get the insert. It's going to force out the Omen Flash early in the round.
Yeah, so that util's enough to actually quell the push garage. BC will walk away. They'll look to play now and towards this A long side instead. And it's a slow rotate from the defensive end. Though the scale's slow enough, they should be back in time. It's going to be close. I don't know if this Omen will make it. It's the 2 on site that really have to put the work in. Early Fragile and Rice Ball, and it's classic done. Has done it against rifles and armor. You think he can't do it against an unarmored squad. Has picked up 3, looking for more. Bolts in. Great read there. Bolts in. You know that player's got to walk away outside of that dark cover. On for the ace, will get shut down, but has certainly found more than enough in this round. It's Revenge left standing, looking to make something happen in defender spawn. Has to work on 2 angles and just can't get it done. Demon will pick it up. It's 10-3. Baker College taking a pistol and taking full control of this third map.
How many of those players in that classic sequence did Riceballin actually see? Right, because he's right-clicking a couple of people. I mean, he got one that he saw popping through the smoke, but other than that, I think a lot of pre-firing there, a lot of just good, not necessarily premonitions, just good reads, per se, on where those defenders were, and just really, really dynamic take from them would be a good word to put it, I suppose. It wasn't really fast, per se, but they were moving. They were for sure moving.
Yeah, they were for sure moving. As Baker College looking to move in early May to Texas, if not just for a couple days. They got space on the top of C-Long. Revenge in the hidey hole. Did have some merit on the classic right click. Wasn't enough to kill. Good chip shot, though. And the rest of BC just storming this site. Noble to take one. A double tap to give some room, but it is going to be BC to plant towards site here. Asova caught away in defender spawn. That's a lot to ask, Drago, with just a classic in your hands.
Well, he did just see what Riceballin did to them last round, so let's see if he takes any inspiration from it. With that being said, this round could have gotten a little bit messy. There was a Vandal that was spraying into the garage smoke for probably a whole mag, so if there was an opportunity for a player to be in that position, they might have been able to find a kill for SHU before Baker actually made their way onto the site. I mean, Drago's all but locked out of this round. The first flash is going to come through. He's totally off of it. Demon shuts him down. 11-3. This is by far the most dominant either of these teams have looked in the series. 2 rounds away from Texas. We've said it before. We'll say it again.
I need Sienna Heights to channel this Northwood upset energy. You beat some collegiate Goliaths on this map. Show us how now. It is slowly getting out of reach. This round essential to win. It's BC playing in a bonus. You lose this one, the econ shattered. BC's at 12. I don't know how much more life you really have after that.
Early contact. There's the bolt, and then the Hunter's Fury on round 3. Yep, pretty good. Revenge is doing a great job of juking it. Almost goes back into it, but does a great job of keeping himself alive. So, Baker, that's the first play from Riceball in this half that hasn't gone completely in his favor.
What a crazy thing to be able to say as well. Just how consistent this Sova's been all throughout this map. Scale up early. It'll be the Yoru and ISO combo yet again, but Super looking to do it for the team. Has picked up one. Has a spray towards the second, but wasn't quite able to get enough timing to finish that one. Oh, Drago a look, but Ladder's just a bit better. So the lurk has merit here, and will work up now towards Sewer. Second fight, and
Oh, no.
Super shut down. The site's open. SHU far out of this. It's a 2v2 to rule them all. Can we get a quick tab before this fight goes through? It's the 23-7 Rice Ballin, the 9-8 ladder, and it's against the 7-13 and 6-12 T-Man. The stakes are against them. They need to win this one to keep the Texas hopes alive. It's Noble in the door first, ladder under hell. It's a trade on both directions. But Rice Ballin, the Goliath of this series, and Noble looking to throw stones.
Probably looking to throw smokes in about 4 seconds if he's patient enough. Rice Ballin has it covered though.
It's Rice Ballin to pick it up. Held the close angle. Full confidence. Noble swings, but he swings too shallow. It's easily picked up for the Sova, who grabs both in that final 2-on-2. The econ is shattered for the Saints. They're working off a broken buy. They've got no ultimate economy at their disposal as it currently sits. They'd have to come up with something rather heroic.
We've said it before though, and SHU has delivered. I think what they need to do here, Super's got to give Drago the rifle and see if he can play for those ult orbs, but it does not look like that's going to be the case. Super's just going to march his way right down mid, has contact, sees him, but doesn't frag him.
Does kill the anti-lurk util at the very least, though. They'll kill the cam. So some vision down. BC, they're going to take it straight to him. They know they've got him on the ropes. They want to go straight to sight. Demon, spray transfer for 2. Ladder, another T-Man's down. And it's just one player standing. Revenge the first coming out of heaven, but no more than that. Ladder will take it and punch the ticket. It'll be Baker College joining us at the Collegiate Esports Commissioner's Cup on May 4th.
And congratulations to them. A hard-fought series, well played by them. Having the presence of mind to be able to steal away map 1, overcoming a difficult map 2 performance in which their map pick was taken away from them to conclude us with a dominant 13-3 win.
Yeah, really showing why they are that second seed. They lock it into a whole nother gear, and when you look for a way to summarize that last map, I think it's rather easy. I think it's 2 words. It's rice and it's ball.
I would agree with you on that. Almost a 3 KD, 434 combat score, 8 first bloods on a Sova. Not necessarily one of those agents that you anticipate getting all of those early contacts, but wow. Definitely stepping up when his team needed him the most. 25 kills in a decider game that you win 13-3. That is a statement. Well played, Baker.
Yeah, and it's not even just the stat line there either. It's the fact that this Sova is getting 3Ks with a classic to win against rifles. They're getting shock bolt fadeaways from the top of the log stack to solidify their round 3. They're getting Hunter's Fury picks to shut down pushes before they can even start. It's when these kills are coming in. It's the clutch in what is a 2v2 that could put Siena Heights back into the game. Just everywhere, doing everything for the squad.
And that 13-3 finish is a bit underwhelming, we'll say, for the magnitude of which these two teams were going back and forth. 1 round was the difference between these two teams going into map 3, and now it's been blown wide open. So, yeah, that's the end of the series. Sorry to Siena Heights, obviously. A great run, derailed at the final hurdle. Really unfortunate. Commiserations to them, of course, but congratulations to Baker. First time in Texas. Best of luck to you guys.
Yeah, best of luck to those guys as well. And best of luck to our Street Fighter players who are still in their last chance qualifier. The finals are next week. They're Tuesday, April 1st at 8:45 p.m. Eastern right here on Esports U, and Capcom Fighters as well. So we'll punch the final tickets to Texas. The event takes place May 2nd to 4th. You're not going to want to miss it. You'll see the likes of Baker. You'll see the likes of all these other fantastic Valorant teams and so many other titles. We hope to see you either there in person or on the stream. But for now, that's been Kakeshi. I've been Catnator. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations to Baker, and we'll see you guys in Texas.
Take care.